Going here. How about that? There we go. All right. There we go. So, radio dials 105.1 FM, 790 AM. You can also download that Wisco Sports app too, not just the Sports Talk one, but download the Wisco Sports app and you'll be able to check out all of our shows throughout that network. So, but appreciate you making us part of your starts on this Tuesday morning. Not Tuesday. Come on, Dan. Wednesday morning. It's game day. There. Had to figure out somebody every time I come in here, somebody's pushing buttons and screwing me up. So there. Now we should have the feed on for the video stream there too. So but game day, baby. Brewers potentially gonna be sweeping the Cubs this afternoon. First pitch at 4:08. Where's the vibe check, Brewers fans? How you feeling? How you feeling with tonight's this afternoon's, whatever we're calling it, game 3. How you feel? Feeling confident? Feeling nervous? Should be nervous. Been nervous. Feeling excited? I hope you're excited. You know, but give me your prediction. Give me a vibe check, okay? Hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Hopefully, you're all donning the blue and yellow, blue maize, whatever you wanna blue gold, whatever you wanna call it here. But give me your predictions. Give me some key players. Give me, some keys to victory, all that fun stuff on a huge game day, game 3. We get Quinn Priester on the mound. Jameson Taillon's gonna be going for the Chicago Cubs. Break it all down. Break it all down here this morning. So that's gonna be good up here in just a bit. The adrenaline kicked in for me last night. That's it started like, "Okay, here we go. Now now we go. Now we go, baby." That's when the adrenaline really started to kick in. It's like, "Oh, let's get to the game. I'm ready. I'm ready to suit up. I'm ready to suit up, Skip. Get me out there." So, let's get baseball talk here. Yankees with the, comeback victory last night, thanks to, All Rise himself, Aaron Judge with a monster home run to tie it and such, so the Yankees survive for another day. The Mariners, also picking up a victory, so they move to 2-1. It is a full day of baseball. Full day of baseball today, so if you're a baseball fan and maybe you got nothing going on today, you could just sit back and relax and watch a lot of baseball here because every single game is going to be in action. How about that? So, get your popcorn ready, get, maybe it's like it's a little, like, tailgate day today. Perfect day. Do a little tailgate. Temperature's a little cool. Get those grills going. Throw some brats up there, some cave lights. Ooh, yeah. And good burgers? Heck yeah. That's a fantastic day. Like, I got my plan for the rest of the day after we're done here. So, we got plenty of Brewers chat here. Also on the docket, we are going to, we're gonna talk some I mean, we'll throw a little football in here because Packers, well, they may be going up against a different quarterback now. Yesterday, Joe Flacco getting traded within the division to the, Cincinnati Bengals. So, hey, Green Bay's already faced him, and, Green Bay's lost to him. Go back to the Browns one, so they may be seeing Joe Flacco again, but maybe this hopefully this time in Green Bay, short week and such, if Flacco does indeed start this game for the Cincinnati Bengals, think so, but I could be completely wrong on that. A little bit of a wrench maybe thrown into to the scouting side. However, Green Bay, again, already played Flacco, familiar with him, gonna be a little bit of a different offense, but does it really matter in this game? It better not matter. It better not matter that Green Bay is going up against Flacco, and it shouldn't be like, "Oh, crap, now we're in trouble." I really, really, really hope that's not gonna be the case for a lot of people. I hope nobody's thinking about that because then we're in some big time trouble. So we'll throw in some gritty goal talk a little football here. We've got stock reports. Whose stock is up? Whose stock is down? You can make your picks by hitting us up with a quick text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715. Why is it? My phone was going off at 715-830-1912, or you could comment on the video stream. So give me your stock risers, give me your stock fallers. Might play a little good cop, bad cop coming up a little bit later on here too. So might throw that into the equation. Hey, not to be outdone either. Yesterday, the NHL season for all you hockey fans, NHL season officially started last night. Puck dropped on their season. Just a few games in action last night. But I know our area, we got a good crop of Chicago Blackhawks fans. They did fall to Florida. Pittsburgh falling to New York. Pittsburgh defeating the Rangers. And then Colorado taking down the Kings of Los Angeles. Just a few games in action today. That includes Montreal at Toronto, Boston at Washington, Calgary at Edmonton, and the Kings at Vegas. If you're wondering when your Minnesota Wild will be in action, that'll be tomorrow when they take on the Blues of St. Louis. Also on the docket for tonight, Game 3 of the WNBA Finals. The Aces right now out to a commanding 2-0 lead in that series up against the Mercury. So tip time for that game is going to be at 7 p.m. So that's kind of your game plan for us this morning on a Wednesday little tailgate version here. I hope I call upon you, my fellow Brewers fans, to be jacked up for today, to be excited for today. We're 1 win away from taking down the Cubbies to go into the NLCS. We'll either go up against the Dodgers or the Phillies, but we'll get to that point when we get to that point. We got Quinn Priester going on the mound. We got Jameson Taillon going on the mound. We're going to preview that. Did Jackson Cheerio suffer a little bit of a setback in the game the other night? Go through some of the comments from Pat Murphy about that. And then we'll take a look at this game and maybe a key factor that could determine the game and be a big boost for the Brewers. I'll tell you what that key factor is, and it's going to be a factor today. It's going to be a factor. But I'll tell you what that is coming up here. We're going to take our first break, and then let's get it going here. I'm excited to talk some Brewers. Let's go. Quick break, and then we'll get things rocking and rolling coming up in just a couple minutes. Whether it's hunting season, baseball season, football season, our good friends at Mike's Star Market has something for everybody to put on the grill. Whether it's maybe getting a little ready for a little afternoon tailgate party for the crew game, or maybe doing a little football tailgating and such. Like Star Market, go over there, get many of their different flavors of brats. Maybe get some of the man cave light brats over there too. But fire up those grills for some tasty brats from Mike's Star Market to really be the MVP of your backyard tailgate party. And then don't forget, especially with the youth hunt coming up this weekend, if you're looking for somewhere that has deer processing, amazing deer processing, Mike Star Market is your go-to place too for deer processing. Mike Star Market, west side of Eau Claire. Go visit our friends and load up. Get the grills going. Oh, can't you just smell? I don't know why. I feel like with a little cooler temps in the fall, the smells of a grill even better. Like going to Lambeau Field in October, November, and you got the charcoal grills going on, and just that whiff out there. Oh. You got to make a candle with that smell. All right, you know what? Let's get a little bit more pumped up. Is this gonna? Is it not gonna work for me? I thought I was gonna have a thing up here. What about now? Is this gonna work? No. Why wouldn't that work? Why wouldn't that work over it? I don't know. I had something cool lined up. Get a little bit more excited and pumped, and it didn't work. So, interesting. I'll have to figure that out here maybe a little bit later on and get this thing going. But I had a Rocky clip maybe to get everybody pumped up and excited here, and that just it didn't pop up there for whatever reason. So, all right. Anyways, let's get going here this morning, shall we? Talking some Brew Crew, Milwaukee Brewers, Game 3 coming to you. 4:08 first pitch. Priester, Tayo, Brewers win, sweep. If they don't, we got a game 4. But we're not focused on game 4. We're focused on game 3. Looking at this matchup. So Priester and Tayo have faced, Priester has faced the Cubbies 3 times this year. Tyone has faced the Brewers 3 times this year. How is Jameson faced against the Brew Crew? Well, let's go through his few starts. You got to go back to May 3rd for the first starts. It was a win for Jameson Tyone. He went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, struck out 5. That was May, though, Dan, right? So what about a little bit more recent? How about June 19th? Where he picked up a loss, only went 4 innings, and this was at Wrigley. Gave up 5 earned runs, including a couple of home runs. Well, do we have anything more recent? Of course we do. August 19th, Milwaukee in Wrigley. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run in a win. Now, what about Mr. Priester? His first start, and now he grew up a Cubs fan too, so this is going to be a wave of emotions for Quinn Priester in this afternoon's game. But his first start, you got to go back to May 2nd, going up against the Cubbies, and it was a little bit of a rough one for him. It was at AFF Field, 4-3, gave up 7 earned runs in that contest. No decision though, too. But 4-3 and 101 pitches. Yeek. Not great. What about more recent outings? Well, I got a couple more here for you. Let's go to July 29th at American Family Field. 5 2/3, 2 earned runs. Did give up 8 hits in the win. And then August 21st at Wrigley. No decision. 4 1/3, 1 earned run, 95 pitches. So, I mean, you look at Quinn Priester, some of these outings, he's kind of Freddie Peralta-esque, especially if you look at his last 3 and a majority of his starts this season or his outings this season. He's a little Freddie Peralta-esque where he racks up the pitch count and maybe doesn't get that deep into games. We're talking between like 5, 6 innings. So he's got a little bit of that Peralta-ness, if that's what we want to call it, with him. But those are kind of the numbers going up against the Cubbies for both sides of the wagon here. But I think so. When we talk about like keys to victory and such, and key matchups and that, there is a key that I think is going to be incredibly important for this afternoon, early evening's game. The wind. The wind. Where is the wind going to be coming from Wrigley Field? Right? That is anybody, we all know, if you're a Brewers fan or if you're a Cubs fan, where's the wind? Last I checked, a little bit ago, 16 miles an hour from the northeast. This is the inside info you need here. 16 miles an hour from the northeast. The way Wrigley Field is positioned, wind's going to be blowing in. Not going to be blowing out. It's going to be blowing in. What does that mean? In my opinion, fewer home runs, advantage Brew Crew. If you gotta do a little bit of small ball, you gotta choke up a little bit on that bat and manufacture some of the runs that way and move those runners across the board. I think it's advantage for the Brewers. I think the weather is an advantage for the Crew. So if we really want to deep dive into something like that, but I don't know if Pat Murphy, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. I don't know if he's got something sneaky up his sleeve again. What exactly the plan is for Priester. Is he on a quick hook? Is he going to, if he shows some signs of struggling or maybe just doesn't have his stuff, is it a quick hook? And is Quintana going to be available? Are they saving Quintana for game 4? I don't know what to believe anymore with what Pat Murphy tells everybody. So it's just what's going on here. I don't know if he's got anything specifically up his sleeve or if we're just going to go straight up. Jose Quintana, or excuse me, Quinn Priester is going to be getting the start. Wouldn't be surprised either way. And maybe that's part of it though too, these mind games that Murphy has been playing a little bit here with the Cubs. Maybe he's got him really thinking, oh, is he going to do something? Is he not going to do something? Is he going to do this? If you just have that little bit of doubt start to creep in, just a little bit, starting to creep in there, you already got a leg up. I think a big thing for tonight, though, this afternoon, tonight, whatever you want to call it, kind of the opposite from the last 2 games. So some people may say, well, I mean, they won without doing this the last 2. But I think being in Wrigley, it's a little bit more important. Not saying if they don't do this, they're not going to win. But I think a big key is to jump out and put up some numbers right away. Put up some runs right away. Put up a crooked number right away. Kind of take the fan, kind of suck that energy out a little bit from Wrigley Field. Maybe start to take a little bit of that confidence away from the Cubs themselves. Maybe start to get in their heads, test the mental game of it. Give Quinn Priester some run support early on. Maybe that'll help settle down for the youngsters' nerves and butterflies. He's going to have them. He's absolutely going to have them. Anybody thinking that he's not, or it's going to be a weakness or whatever you want to call it, come on now. I always had a phrase, if you're not a little bit nervous, you don't have a little bit of butterflies, you don't care. I mean, this is a big moment. It's Quinn Priester's biggest start of his career. In this game 3 going up against a team that he grew up watching. There's going to be a lot of emotions. How can you channel those emotions? Going back to this pitching matchup here, when we look at how both of these pitchers finished the month of September, and you look at Jameson, who had missed some time, missed the entire month of July, came back middle end of August, and then pitched in 4 games in September, and he was 2-1 with a 1.54 ERA. Pitched in that clinching game against the Padres. On the flip side, you look at Priester. He pitched in 4 games in the month of September, 2-1 with a 3.52 ERA. But that's outside of the month of June that Priester had. That's been kind of the average numbers for a guy like Quinn Priester. I mean, June, Priester was just hot. Hot. 4-0 with a 1.98 ERA. Now, if we get that type of version where we're going to get, Priester going, let's say, the line that he had against the Cardinals on June 15th, where he went 6 and 4 hits and 1 earned run, or even better yet, against Colorado, 7 innings, 1 hit, 11 strikeouts, punch the ticket to the NLCS. But if we're playing the averages, it's probably going to be a start anywhere between 5, 6 innings, maybe a couple earned runs. But one thing that Priester has done a really good job of this year that I think has been one of his most impressive things that he's displayed is just the ability to not be rattled. There's been times, I mean, he allows base runners. He allows hits. Guys get on against him. I mean, you look at a lot of the game logs and you're looking at 6, 7, 8, 5, 6. I mean, multiple hits. Okay. But the thing that really to me that kind of separates Priester, really stands out from his season, is he allows those hits, but he doesn't get rattled too much. And he's a little bit of a ground ball pitcher where he can get those guys into double plays. There's just this confidence from him, or this great mental game from him, that it seems like the pressure doesn't really get to him, and maybe the moment isn't too big. But this is the playoffs, though, too, right? This is the playoffs, so that pressure is going to be that pressure is going to be a little bit more, right? And how can he combat that? How can he channel that and pick up a big time win? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know why, but I had that clip running through my head all night last night. That's when the adrenaline started to kick in, Brewers fans. Oh yes. I know it's just game 3. We have a chance to move on. I know we've been to a championship series in 2018. Okay. It was not that long ago, but this is just a different feeling. This is just different. Can't really put it into words, I don't think. Maybe some of you can put a better spin on it and such, but boy, there's just this different feeling, right? Ah, I am so pumped up. I am so ready for this afternoon's game. Give me some keys to victory. Give me some key matchups. Give me some predictions, okay? We put up a poll question, last night, our 715 Speak poll question brought to you by Post Glass and Beer. We asked, how confident are you in the Brewers picking up a win in game 3? 81% of you said yes. 19, though, said, yeah, you're gonna go with the Cubs. I don't know if that's just how you're feeling or you're playing the odds. Tell me why you're picking where you're picking. Is it based off pitching matchups, or maybe it's just playing the average? Maybe you're like, "You know what? Brewers might lose today, but they're gonna win game 4." But where would you rank this type of feeling right now? I want you to dig deep into your soul. Your dig deep, 'cause this has got a maybe I'm overhyping it, but this to me ranks as one of the most exciting, pumped up, jacked up feelings I have heading into any game. Packers, Bucks, Brewers, doesn't matter. This is up there. It's weird though because it's also a little bit different because we know there is potentially another game tomorrow if it doesn't go our way. So it's not like a Packer one or a football one where it's do or die and there is no tomorrow. I don't want to think of that way. I want to focus on today's game. I want to focus on now and get that W. To get that W. All right. Send me your thoughts, Brewers fans. I want to hear from you. Okay. Hit me up with the text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more baseball talk. Hopefully, some pumped up Brewers fans too. When drivers in Eau Claire need a mechanic they can trust, they turn to AJM Automotive. Known for honest work, fair pricing, and quick turnarounds, AJM Automotive handles everything from oil changes to engine repairs, plus some new tires. I just got some new tires a few weeks ago and such. So, especially now, maybe the temperatures a little bit cooler, getting that winter. It's hard to say the W word, but getting winter in the back of your mind there. So if you need those new tires, they can help you out there as well. But whether it's a daily driver or a weekend toy, AJM Automotive treats every vehicle like it's their own. Friendly service, expert technicians, and a reputation built on integrity. AJM Automotive keeps Eau Claire running right. Give them a call today to set up your appointment at 715-835-9523. So did Jackson cheer? Well, first of all, before we get to Jackson Cheerio, let's go through a couple texts here because I want to hear from a lot of you Brewers fans this morning. Okay, all right, I need to feel the energy. I need to feel the vibe from you right now. I need you to match the vibe that I've got. Okay, Steve from Eau Claire says our turn to jump out on top in the first inning lead. G-Man, the Hall of Famer. He's got the Euchre jersey on, and he is jacked for today. The Brewers will win 6-2, and the Crew will win the World Series for Euchre. Yes, sir. Tippecanoe region. Brewers sweep today. Key performance will be Priester. If he pitches into the fifth inning, then let the bullpen eat. Also need Cheerio to start the offense. Well, speaking of Jackson Cheerio, did he suffer a little bit of a letback in game 2? Pat Murphy said yesterday he felt it again, talking about that hamstring. Murphy also went on to say, we'll treat him today. Hopefully he'll have a light day, and hopefully he'll be good to go. But apparently Cheerio felt a little bit more discomfort in that leg in the game. You know, we saw Brandon Lockridge come into the game. I think a lot of us just assumed it was like, yeah, all right. You know, it's just trying to relax it, you know, not push it and such. But apparently he did feel it. Don't know, like if it's kind of the same feeling that he had after or in between or during game 1, a little bit worse. But Pat Murphy at least is a little bit less dramatic in his assessment when he says hopefully he will be good to go. So that's definitely going to be something to watch today. You know, if the weather's a little bit cooler too, a little bit chillier, is that going to, you know, trying to keep that hamstring warm in the dugout and such? Maybe put a little extra layer on there, put a little heat pad on there, little Bengay or icy hot. But try to keep that thing loose so it doesn't tighten up too much. But who are some other potential key players in this contest going into Wrigley? So I was kind of curious to see, all right, how have some of the main players hit, you know, offensively, how have they produced at Wrigley Field this year? Okay, so we're just going to go through like the starters. Going to go through the starters here. Let's start off with Bryce Terang at Wrigley Field. Bryce Terang, he's been good at Wrigley Field. 28 at-bats, 429 batting average, 467 on base, 714 slugging, a 1.181 OPS. It's in 28 at-bats this season. Does have a couple home runs, but again, I feel like home runs might be a little bit of a premium with the win today. So Bryce Terang has some very solid numbers at Wrigley Field. How about the leader himself, Mr. Christian Yelich? In 25 at-bats, he's just hitting 200. 333 on base, 360 slugging, in a 693 OPS. As we were talking about him, Jackson Cheerio. What's his numbers at Wrigley Field? Just 10 at-bats at Wrigley Field this year. Remember, he was on that injured list for a while, but in those 10 at-bats, he's hitting 300, on base of a 300, slugging 500, OPS of an 800. What about a guy like Caleb Durbin? 26 at bats, just 154, 577 OPS. Andrew Vaughn at Wrigley Field, 28 career at bats, 179 and a 472 OPS. How about Contreras, right? Contreras, he's got to have some really good numbers at Wrigley Field. 26 at bats, 192 batting average, 594 OPS. And then we got to put Salvatore Frelick up here and Joey Ortiz. Let's start off with Sal Frelick at Wrigley Field so far this year. 29 at bats, 310 with a 773 OPS. And then finally, Joey Ortiz. Joey Ortiz is actually hit. Okay, for everybody who thought maybe Joey Ortiz was going to be a key player in game 2, maybe it's this game. 22 career at-bats at Wrigley, or I keep saying career, 22 at-bats at Wrigley Field this year, 318. I'm going to be kind of weirded out by saying his OPS number here, 666. So maybe a Joey Ortiz game, huh? If you kind of look at those numbers. So the three guys that really jumped out from an offensive standpoint, the three players that have put up some solid offensive numbers at Wrigley Field this year, Terang, Frelick, Ortiz. Do we look at those numbers and those are the people we look at and be like, okay, those are the key players in today's game? If that wins is in fact going to be blowing in double-digit miles per hour, I'll keep saying this. I think that is a big-time boost for the Brewers. It plays into the Brewers' hands. That's going to make a guy like Sal Frelick even more important. Getting on base. Maybe even, where he's batting in that lineup in the middle of the order, if there's some guys in front of him, getting them across the plate. Joey Ortiz at the bottom. If he could get on, he's kind of another, after you go through the first time of the order, another leadoff type of hitter. Go through that, get on base. You're on base at the top of the order. And then maybe Terang in that 3 spot could be a run producer today, considering his offensive success at Wrigley Field. But I'm just kind of curious this year how some of these players, some of these Brewers players, fared at Wrigley. Some maybe surprised, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So does that change? Does that maybe kind of make you feel like, okay, that means Terang and Frelick and Ortiz got to be the key players in this one? That they got to be the key players. By the way, Quinn Priester. So if you're just kind of wondering, he's only pitched 1 game at Wrigley. And it was that game earlier on when he went that we talked about where he went 4 1/3 and gave up just 1 earned run, a 2.08 ERA. Now, if we just do his numbers against the Cubs overall, Quinn Priester's got a 6.28 ERA, 1-0, 10 earned runs in a little over 14 innings pitched. He has given up a 293 batting average. It's not actually the highest. I mean, Miami actually has a 318. Minnesota has a 474 against him. And then the Mets, a 526. So I believe it's the 4th highest he has on there. Now, let me bring up just some more numbers here against for Tyone here. going up against this Brewers lineup. Let me bring that up here quick. Give you kind of both sides of the numbers here. I don't want postseason. I want regular season here. Okay, so looking at Jameson Sion, his numbers at Wrigley Field this year. Scroll on down. He has been 3.05 ERA. He's 5-2 in 59 innings pitched at Wrigley, giving up a batting average of just a 204 at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Going up against the Brewers this year, 2-1 with a 4.50 ERA and 16 innings pitched. 8 earned runs, 16 hits. So, just kind of giving you a little bit more background info on that. Does that change your thoughts in heading into this game, or do you kind of throw those numbers out the window when it comes to the postseason? I think, you could maybe throw a little bit of it out, but I still think there's something to those numbers. It's not going to forecast or dictate who's going to win the game, but it gives you a little bit of a feeling like, okay, how do these pitchers go up against these hitters? How do these hitters perform at that ballpark? And Wrigley is such a weird one too because of the wind. It changes things. If that thing was blown out, I'd be a little bit worried about the Brewers able to keep the ball in the field or keeping the ball in the park against the Cubs hitters. But I think that could be a huge boost for this Brewers team. All right, let's take a quick break. Got to hear for more. I want to hear the enthusiasm, Brewers fans. Okay, if you're a Cubs fan and you want to do a little trash talk, go for it too. Just make it clean so I can stay on the air. All right, we'll take a quick break. When it comes to groceries, meals, and convenience, families in Eau Claire count on Hy-Vee. From fresh produce and quality meats to ready-made meals and everyday essentials, Hy-Vee has everything shoppers need all in one stop. Friendly service, great selection, and weekly deals that help stretch the budget. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire makes shopping simple. And for today's games and such, or for the future, don't forget, grab yourself a six-pack of Man Cave Lights from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire and get yourself some Dan Good burgers, and then you'll have one epic tailgate party or get some team swag from their team shop over there too to represent your favorite pro, college, even high school teams. They got it all over there. One-stop shop, baby. One-stop shop. C-Bomb's chiming in saying the Crew have a 2-game lead. Let Jackson sit on the bench and pinch hit if needed. They are in a position where he might get a few days rest. Take advantage of that. The Cubs are desperate. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. Let's dominate and watch Wrigley fill up with tears. So, okay, you're Pat Murphy or you're the Brewers. Do you sit Jackson Chourio because you have a 2-game lead? I always get nervous in that stuff, and I understand. I understand the mindset or the thinking of that, but I also get nervous in that aspects too, because it's like, okay, are you taking a little bit off the gas? Are you thinking like, okay, we got some wiggle room to play with? Like, I don't want to open that door for the Cubs to, like, if there's a little bit of a peak, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, so they're gonna do this because they think they've got a nice little lead. Let's take advantage of that, and this is our chance to get momentum. So I always get a little nervous on that stuff. Now, if Cheerios like hurt to the point where he can't hardly run in that's obviously different. It's completely different. I don't think the Brewers would put him out there, would throw him out there. But I always get nervous, especially in a playoff series. If you have this big lead, it's like, okay, now, maybe let's get a little too cute or maybe relax a little bit. Because does that open the door then for that team? Like, oh, okay, we'll take this win, and that's where we're going to get that momentum, and then, we're going to get back into this thing. Just one more win. Just one more win. Then we get to the NLCS. But we got to take it. Brewers have to take it. Game-by-game approach. Have to do that. And they will. I fully believe they will. That's the mindset they have. That's the mindset that this team has had all season long. All season long. And nothing has changed within these first couple of days or first couple games of this playoff series. It's going to be a great day of baseball if you are a baseball fan. I mean, you got games all across the board here. Starting with Seattle at Detroit. If Seattle wins, they move on. First pitch for that one's going to be 2:08. Then we in Chicago. 6:08 tonight. The Yankees, with their comeback victory last night, hanging on. Toronto at New York, 6:08. And then Philly at the Dodgers for the nightcap. Can the Dodgers sweep the Phillies at home? Can they take advantage of that? Or will the Phillies be able to extend that series? So, and if necessary, it'll be Phillies, Dodgers, Brewers, Cubs tomorrow night. It'll be a late one. Another 8:08 first pitch for the Brewers tomorrow. But let's get the W today. Let's get the W today. That's the mindset I have. Because on the flip side there too, I mean, you could take a little bit of an off day, and depends on the other series and how they kind of wrap up and such, how many off days you'll have. If you're the Brewers and you win today, you got to be hoping that maybe the Phillies win and just kind of push this series a little bit. Although, I mean, it's just a day then with Thursday, so who knows? But I don't know if there's necessarily a big gap of potential rest days and such. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to that bridge. We'll get to that moment when we get to that moment, right? So send me your predictions, though. Hit me up with a text, 715-830-1912. You can also comment on the video stream. Get me your predictions, your keys to victory, your key players. We did this on, was it Monday? Yeah. Who's the player we're going to be talking about tomorrow morning? Who's the player that we're going to be talking about tomorrow morning? Give me those predictions as well. Okay. All right. So we'll get back to more baseball talk coming up in the next hour. Also, we'll talk a little football coming up next hour. We got stock reports. Whose stocks are up, whose stocks are down. Make your picks. Okay, give me your selections. Stocks up, stocks down. Maybe a lot of stock ups for somebody with the Brewers, Pat Murphy. I know he was on Pat McAfee yesterday, so Brew Crew getting a little bit of national attention and such. So, but maybe it's a little bit of with the Brewers. Maybe your stock downs are more Giannis, chit chat, Shams, whether Giannis is going to be with the Knicks or not. So maybe that's a little bit of your stock down and such. So, but let's wrap it up this first hour with Morgan.
Look at you.
Thanks for representing the Brewers today. Appreciate that.
Hey, I do. It's coming. It's underneath. All right. I have layers. I noticed your brew crude up. That's actually what I was going to ask you about, even though that's starter zipper. That starter zipper.
Look at this. The fanny pack pockets.
Yeah.
In the front. Oh, yeah.
That starter zipper reminds me of what, 6th, 7th grade, somewhere around there. Everybody had that dangling from their zippers. So Rodney Dangerfield, I get no respect, the whole bit. Why, in your opinion, and maybe you've covered this just one of those rare moments where I don't have my ear completely locked on every word out of your mouth, but why is it that it doesn't seem like the Brewers get the attention and respect that, say, for example, the Yankees are getting right now? Because listening to national sports, the Brewers are buried. And I'm like, they're on the brink of taking it here with the Cubs. So why is that?
Market size, I think. They don't have the star power.
But it's been a heck of a season.
It has, and in my opinion, they win the way that you're not supposed to win because they don't hit home runs like the Yankees do.
So it's
the
just
Dodgers.
lack of flash.
Exactly. They're not sexy.
Okay.
Right? That sort of thing. Aaron Judge last night with the big bomb home run to tie it up. I mean, that's Brewers, I think, play a style that when I say you're not supposed to, because that's not supposed to be the way that you win games in baseball anymore. It's all analytic. It's supposed to be home runs and chicks dig the long ball sort of thing.
Well, yeah, but even Pat came out and said, listen, it's not about the home runs.
Right.
So they're laying it out there flat and saying, we're playing ball to get it done and grind it out, not to, get flashy and sexy and on stage and
because what's
going to
happen if the Brewers do lose before getting to the World Series, the first thing out of national people's mouths are going to be, see, we told you. You have to hit home runs to win, which is, to me, is mind-boggling because a few years ago, the narrative was the Brewers only hit home runs and they can't hit or can't score other ways either.
Well, it's the equivalent of what basketball's turned into in terms of you have to slam dunk. You don't, but what that mentality does is change the game, especially for people that are watching it at a younger level, or you learn how to play or you learn the sport differently when you're seeing it through this lens of manufactured big bomb, big play, big headline moments. It's not the reality on most people's fields that are grinding it out every day.
Right. Exactly.
So it's not just because the perspective tends to be, you don't talk about our team, but it is palpable and it is noticeable. And taking even myself and my own fandom out of it. And I think this year's a little more nostalgia because of Euchre too. So I think we have some of that permeating the Brewer fan world right now too.
Right.
All of a sudden it's like, hey, we're over here and we're doing it.
Yep.
Take notice.
Exactly. Prediction.
Nice. Yeah.
You going to go?
They're going to take it.
All right.
Sorry, Cubs fans.
Yes. I like it. All right. One in. We got a few more to go. We got some news updates. We'll be back after these quick words. All right, here we go. Second hour kicking off right now on this Wednesday morning. Game day Wednesday morning. Brewers, Cubs, game 3 this afternoon. Brewers with a chance to sweep and move on to the National League Championship Series. Come on, Brewers fans, give me a little bit of a vibe check. How you feeling this morning? How you rolling? Okay. Paul's a little superstitious, just a little. He's not superstitious, just a little stituous. Thank you for the Office reference. Always you get extra points for that. James says, vibe check on the Brewers. Feeling good. I do think it's going to be a challenging game. Cubbies are going to throw everything at the Crew to win today. I still think they are going to win. Big Worm says, Big Dano, morning. You absolutely do not sit Cheerio. Win this game and get some rest and hope the Phillies can stretch out the series. Mark says, Morgan getting us all fired up. Thanks for that. Continue to send me your vibe checks, all right? I also want your predictions. I want your predictions. 715-830-1912. Nick says, are we going to the World Series if the Brewers make it? I don't want to jinx that. Last time I was planning that, but screw it. Yes, if the Brewers go to the World Series, I'm going. I got to figure out a way to go. I got to find that out. And I want to go as a fan. I don't want to go as a media member. I want to go as a fan. I want to cheer with my fellow Brewers fans. I want to have a beer in the stands at American Family Field. I want to lose my voice cheering on a victory at a World Series game. Yeah, I'll probably have to pay for the ticket though, but I want to be a fan. I want to be a fan for that. Got to figure out a way to go. I'm pretty sure I'm probably not the only person thinking that too. That is going to be one hot, you know what ticket if it were to go. But let's before we get down that path, let's take it. Let's follow the Brewers mold here and just take a game by game approach. But would there be a game that maybe that leads into kind of an interesting kind of question, little barstool, man cave type of conversation? Would there be a game that you would attend where money wasn't an object? And I hate saying money isn't an object because obviously it definitely is and such. But like, okay, would a Brewers World Series game be like, for you, I am going. I will figure out a way. I will go. I will hitchhike. I will get a second job temporarily. I will sell off some memorabilia. I will do all this. That is a game I will be going to. That is a bucket list item. I will figure it out. Is it that? And somebody asked me yesterday, and this is I honestly believe it. What would garner more attention? What would garner more attention for Wisconsin sports fans? Brewers playing in the NLCS or a Packers game? And honestly, I think if I just gauge it based off of participation, feedback, conversations with our program and such, I would kind of go towards a little bit with the Packers. Now, if it's a Brewers World Series, I think that would be a little bit different. I feel like that'd be a little bit different. But I honestly feel like when it comes to attention, conversation, and such, Packers just drive the needle every single time. It drives. I don't know if it's just because it's one game a week. It's also the Green Bay Packers and maybe, the consistency they've always been at. I don't know. B's mom says, "Hey, we're in party on what? Hey, we're in party on Go Brewers." C-Bomb says, "Absolutely. We are going if they get to the World Series." In 2017 with Prime Rodgers, would you have thought that you would see more championship opportunities for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers or the Milwaukee Brewers over the next decade? Huh. I've never put it in that perspective before, C-Bomb. Look at you thinking about stuff outside the box. I'll repeat that. In 2017 with Prime Rodgers, would you have thought that you would see more championship opportunities for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers or the Milwaukee Brewers over the next decade? We need to enjoy this. Interesting. No, I mean, the simple answer is no. You would not have expected more championship opportunities for the Brewers. No. That's the easy answer. And I think, yeah, that's the point you're making here is, I think the point is that, like you said, enjoy this. Enjoy this. Zach says, "Good morning, Dad. Liking the swag today. Love to see the Brewers get the sweep today." I love the fact that starter's coming back. You know what? It would be sweet if we got I don't even know if this is possible. Get a generic blank starter jacket and then put some show station swag on there. Paul says, "I have World Series tickets from the last time they got close. You have to buy them early. The Packers have had many more opportunities than the Brewers." Ryan says, "I will take a loan out if I have to make sure I attend a World Series game. Would you give up Packers not winning a Super Bowl for the next 20 years or the Brewers to win a World Series this year?" I know there's been those questions have been floated out for a long time. But I guess and I think, Ryan, that may be a good question to throw out with the whole what would gain more interest or garner more conversation if you put it that way. Would you give up a Packers now winning a Super Bowl for 20 years for a Brewers to win a World Series this year? I'll ask you that, C-Bomb, because I know you're a Packers guy. Anybody else who maybe views themselves as, big time Packers fans, would you give up that 20 years for a Brewers World Series? It's kind of like making a deal with the devil a little bit, right? You're just like, okay, I'm going to give up 20 years of this to do this. Bears fans don't count. Sorry, Hutch. Bears fans can't count in that conversation. So, I mean, you probably already know what it's like to not win in 20 years. So, I mean, you're already experienced in this equation. Just yeah, you don't count. We got some key players here. We got Ben saying key player for today is going to be Bryce Terang. After you read off the numbers and his batting stats going up against Wrigley Field, I think he has got to be a key guy to drive in some runs, especially if they got to play a little small ball with the wind. Key player, got a couple people going with Quinn Priester and such, which obviously definitely, to me, I think the interesting part going to be for Priester is, does he have a short leash? He is a little bit unknown. Yes, we saw what he was able to do in the regular season, but now we're in the postseason. And you kind of look at what they've got in the bullpen. You still got Quintana. Now, maybe they're saving Quintana for a potential game 4. They maybe could go Freddie if they wanted to, maybe a day earlier. But if Priester's not, it's clearly obvious that he's just not dealing. He's not in it. How quick of a leash do you have? Knowing you also have a 2-0 lead. I think you have to play to, I want the aggressive mindset still. I again, like what I was saying in that first, I don't like playing a little bit like, oh, okay, we got a little bit of a cushion here. I mean, I understand it. I get it to an extent, but again, I'm going to use the boxing analogy that we've been using the last couple of days. You've got a team on the rope. You've got them on the ropes here. They're going to come out aggressive. They're going to come out desperate, just like a lot of you are saying. They're probably going to throw the kitchen sink. They're going to come in motivated and, desperate team. Season's on the line. In their home stadium. Crowd's going to be behind them. I want the Brewers to match that and stay aggressive with that and stay aggressive with some of their decision making. You have this team on the ropes. Don't give them a little bit of life. Don't give them a little bit of hope. Strangle that thing out of them. Suffocate it out of them. Don't let that creep into their mindset. They get a little hope, then they get a little confidence, and then it's like, oh, crap. To put it into perspective or put it into a comparison with a lot of people gripe about Matt LaFleur and the Packers offense. Keep the foot on the gas. Keep the foot on the pedal. I want the Brewers to do that for today too. Keep the foot on the gas. Knock them out. Going to have to take some of the hits from the Cubs right away. They're probably going to be aggressive right away. They probably want to put a lot of pressure on Priester. He ain't a veteran out there. He hasn't been here before. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Cubs come out swinging right away and trying to put up an early number. But can the Brewers take those hits, take those body blows, and then counter with some haymakers, counter with some big hits themselves? Are they able to withstand maybe that urge, that push right away that we might see from the Cubs? I mean, the Brewers have already showcased in the first 2 games that they could come from behind, tie it up, take the lead in different way. I mean, 1-0 after the first game. They tie it up in the bottom of the first. 3-0 after the second game. Tie it up in the bottom of the first. So they've been able to do that. But going to have a little bit more of a desperate team in the Cubs here. Really quick before we go to break, C-Bob says, since 2017, Green Bay has played in 2 NFC Championship games. The Brewers will be in their second NLCS if they win one more against the Cubs. Should the Brewers get to the World Series, that's more championship opportunities in the Packers than the Packers have had in 15 years. I don't know if I would give up 20 years for a World Series championship, but I do think a Brewers championship would mean more than any Packers championship. The way the MLB is structured, the Brewers supposed to stand no chance The Brewers winning a World Series would be like Lake Placid in 1980. Ooh, okay. Now, C-Bomb, let me follow that up by saying, if the Packers had never won a Super Bowl or a championship, do you still feel that way? If they don't have any, would you still feel that way? All right, let's take a quick break. We will talk a little football coming up here too. Definitely lots of baseball talk left for this morning. So continue to send me your vibes. Vibe check, Brewers fans. How you feeling heading into this game tonight? Text it to us, or you can join Paul and James and Zach and company on the YouTube stream. Send those on over. Join in on the conversation. All right. Give me your predictions. Give me your key players for this afternoon, tonight's game. We'll take that quick break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, we'll get back to plenty more Brewers talk coming up here. I know a lot of you are still chiming in with some picks and some bold predictions, keys to victory, key players, all that fun stuff. So we're going to switch gears here for a little bit and chat.
This is lovely. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
You have gone from, in my opinion, the college abode, that last place your senior year of college, to getting that first place out of college with this studio here.
My one of the last one, that house was 5 guys with one bathroom. That was bad.
You know what? I had that similar situation.
Yeah. And I think this house there was frogs in it. It was bad.
Yeah, but this is beautiful. This is something, man. First of all, I love golf course carpeting.
Yep. Shout out Carpet City for that. I keep forgetting to bring my putter in.
You know what? I think what you need to do is you need to have every guest who comes in, you need to have a putt off.
I like that.
So just a little side bet with every guest that comes in.
If you miss it, you got to take a shot.
I think that's appropriate. Going back to college time.
Exactly, right?
By the way, I would, give up 20 years of Green Bay Super Bowl for a Brewer World Series win.
What if Green Bay had Brewer won a Super Bowl?
That's different. It's a completely different situation. So I'm a Packer fan first.
Yep.
So then, no question. But I have said this, that when Wisconsin lost the national championship in basketball, my dad, graduate of University of Wisconsin-Madison, me, graduate of University of Wisconsin-Madison, both of us had an opportunity to see the Badgers win a national championship. My dad saw it. I missed it. I don't think the Badgers, given the landscape of college basketball, will ever get back to the national championship game. The Brewers, given the landscape, the financial landscape of baseball, you have to catch lightning in a bottle. And so I think it's more rare for the Brewers to win a World Series than the Packers to win a Super Bowl. I've been alive for 3 Green Bay Super Bowl wins. I have seen 2 of them. And again, 1982, 15-year-old Joe DeGuano, looking back 10-0 that first game, with I believe Molly and Yount both collecting 5 hits. Mike Caldwell with the gem, thinking this is going to be a walk in the park. And the Brewers lose in 7 to the Cardinals. 1982, 43 years ago. No question. Brewer World Series.
I would, especially, you factor in this year too with there's going to be a lot of, it's going to be fun. It does happen. So might have to declare a day off.
You know what? I will take a day off and come in and just do shots here in this brand new studio, if the general manager will allow that, to celebrate a Brewer victory.
Maybe that general manager would want to join.
He probably would.
Well,
rumor has it she does have JMO in her office.
Now we're getting the curtain feet behind a little bit. So we're serious here in this building. What are you talking about?
We are very serious in this building. We are very serious.
So switching gears here a little. Speaking of green and gold, Packers are coming up for bye week and maybe going up against a new quarterback that they've already faced.
How many teams have lost to Joe Flacco twice in 1 year?
I really hope Green Bay doesn't join that list.
When I heard this yesterday, I said, you have got to be kidding me. Joe Flacco, who comes out and beats them as a Cleveland Brown, now has an opportunity to beat them as a Cincinnati Bengal. And you know what? Cincinnati is a better football team than Cleveland was.
Defensively?
Probably not. Heavily not. But they have more
Chase.
Yeah, they have more offensive weapons. That offensive line is worse. But again, when I saw this, I just shook my head. I thought Jake Browning was going to be a great game for Green Bay to kind of get back to what they were before those last 2 games. But, and again, now you've got the wild card. You've got a guy coming in who's a seasoned vet, who has won a Super Bowl, and who's beaten you once already this year. So you kind of have to throw things out the door as far as when you look at things logically and say on paper and all these kind of things, because you don't know. I go back to, what was that, a couple of years ago, Captain? Baker Mayfield signed off the street.
To the Rams.
To the Rams, yeah, on Thursday Night Football. And plays probably the game of his life up to that point. Now, Baker since then has rejuvenated his career. And I'm not saying Joe Flacco is Baker Mayfield, but you just don't know. You have variables you didn't count for before. So, yeah, I still, look, I still see Green Bay winning, but I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Joe Flacco again? I mean, what is this guy going to get traded 3 times this year and play against Green Bay all 3 times?
He needs to go to the Steelers.
I know. I was just going to say, Rodgers goes down and Flacco gets traded to the Steelers. Yeah,
yep. That's got to be the goal now for him when he wraps up his career.
Yeah, so, look,
the elite with Flacco.
I still look at this game. I see this game now. I've said this the last 2 times we've been on. I'm for Green Bay should win this game pretty easily. If I'm not mistaken, before the Joe Flacco trade, this was a double-digit win spread. And so, and Vegas usually, or the house always wins, usually is right about these things. So I still see Green Bay winning. I like Matt LaFleur and Hafley coming off the bye. History has shown adjustments that need to be made are made. You've got Christian Watson, who I don't see playing this weekend, but he's at least on that window now. He's off the pup where he can actually practice. Zach Tom practice. Aaron Banks practice. I believe Devontae Wyatt's still the only starter not practicing. And so I thought the bye came at a really good time after those last 2 games. And again, I like LaFleur and I like Hafley coming off the bye. And Hafley, I think you got thrown Micah Parsons. That was right before the season. And so now you had some time to digest this and say, how do we really use him? And again, with Devontae Wyatt out, you can see Lucas Van Ness playing that 3 technique defensive tackle a little bit more. And so I see Green Bay coming out, getting creative offensively, getting creative defensively, and winning this game pretty handily.
That's the big thing I took away, or I'm mistaken about the bye week too, is because you're right. I mean, it's kind of been a whirlwind first few weeks. You get Parsons the week before, a lot of excitement. You're still new. You're still trying to get adjusted to him. I mean, you win your first 2, everybody's talking about you and such. But you look at this matchup with Parsons. I'm expecting him to maybe do a little bit more, like move him across the line of scrimmage, moving him around, lining up. But the down effect too. Could that maybe open the door for like a guy like Andrew Cooper? You need a little bit more active and going after the quarterback and stuff.
It's interesting, Captain, because I go back to last year, and history does repeat itself in the NFL. And Hafley last year, I think didn't know what he had. Those first few games, you kind of feel your way through it a little bit, and then you realize what kind of football team we are. And the same thing last year happened offensively for Matt LaFleur because he realized what he had in Josh Jacobs. Now, offensively, I think he needs to lean on Jordan Love more until the running game gets going. So it's exactly the opposite of last year. But this year, I think Hafley, I think he thought he could get 4-man pressure against Dallas and be successful, and he wasn't. And so, yes, I think Edgerrin Cooper now becomes that guy. Quay Walker probably to a lesser extent, where you start bringing that 5th guy now. And you mix and match. And maybe Cooper comes off the edge and Parsons comes through the A gap. And those types of things you can do now. So, yeah, I'm seeing Cooper having a big game. I'm seeing Parsons having a big game. And I'm seeing Jordan Love having a big game.
Jordan Love, again, I mean, we've talked about him at length, and yet there's still criticism surrounding
angst about one Jordan Love.
Right. And you look at you talk about big plays, throwing the ball down the field too. And you mentioned Christian Watson and what the role he's going to have when he comes back here in a couple of weeks. They're already throwing the ball down the field at a high level, high success rate. You add in a Christian Watson. What does that offense potentially look like when you throw him in there? What Romeo Doubs is doing. I'm going to get to Romeo here in a second too about these rumors about a contract extension. Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, these guys. I feel like, and I was talking about this the other day with Watson, not only taking the top off the defense, but is he a guy that maybe helps out the running game a little bit too because of that extra attention being drawn to him?
Absolutely. Jordan Love, top 5 yards per attempt. Jordan Love, top 5 completion percentage. Jordan Love, top 5 quarterback rating. Jordan Love, top 10 touchdowns right now. And again, that's with a bye.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where the criticism comes from. You and I talked about it a few weeks ago. I think the expectations are very, very high for Jordan Love. So I get that. Green Bay Packer fans are spoiled when it comes to quarterback play. Period. End of discussion. And so when you look at what he's been able to do this year, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yes, the interception was absolutely horrible. No question. You can't throw that ball. No question. But every metric you look at, Jordan Love is a top 5, top 7 quarterback this year. Every metric. And so across the board. So to say that he's not having a good season, whatever the case may be, right now he's still one of the front runners, according to FanDuel, for MVP this year. As far as when you look at the odds-on favorites to win the MVP. So going back to now how this offense looks differently. And again, Christian Watson coming back. Packer fans like to criticize Christian Watson as well. And they look at the stats and they look at the hard numbers and they look at the fact that you traded up to get him, et cetera, and he's injured and blah, 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 blah. What he does, though, for the rest of that football team, and this is why I love the sport of football. I was actually talking to one of my players last night. We took the receivers and the quarterbacks out for dinner last night. I was talking to one of my receivers, and he said the greatest game is in his mind is still basketball. I said, I disagree, because you can individually win a basketball game. Now, Michael Jordan can take over a game and win it. Giannis can take over a game and win it. Yes, you've got complementary players, but football is a team sport. When you look at what Christian Watson does, when you look at taking off the top, and they haven't used Golden a lot in that role. And so different body type, but still the same kind of speed. So Christian Watson takes the top off that defense. He moves the safeties back. Now that cover 2 look is completely different. Now Romeo Doubs gets more looks with maybe a number 2 cornerback. There's not bracket coverage. Josh Jacobs opens up because the safeties are playing back. Everything opens up, and this goes back to, and I know we want to get to Romeo, the special uniqueness of one Christian Watson. You can't coach that kind of size-speed ratio. When you've got that kind of ability, that natural ability, it absolutely helps everyone else on that offensive side of the ball.
Yep, I totally agree. So we heard Romeo Doubs bye week that Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reported. Casual, maybe just kind of exploratory, introductory conversations about a potential contract extension for one Romeo Doubs. 1, your thoughts on it. 2, I feel like this is a typical blueprint out of a Packers negotiation. Let's try to get a bargain. Because remember, what did we always say with like Ted Thompson before he left off? Thanks for the parting gift for getting Devontae Adams locked up before he hit the market, because it would have exploded.
Right.
Like, and they did the same with Jordy, back in the day. So I like, part of it's like, okay, yeah, they're maybe potentially looking for a bargain. It might be up to Romeo whether he wants the security or maybe hit the open market. But that would be Romeo. We got Watson for another year. We got, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed. Dontavian Wicks is kind of up in the air at this. And we know about the salary cap situation next year. Would you like, if they locked up Romeo Doubs to a long-term extension?
Because of the ability to put some of that in this year's cap. And so, yes, and 100%, you have flexibility this year. The Micah Parsons deal explodes more next year. And so Green Bay is going to have to do – Russ Ball is going to have to work his magic this offseason. We know that. So I look at it and say the time is right to make that move. You still got Quay Walker. That's another question mark that you're probably looking at. And so, if you can get Doubs. Now, for me, if I'm Romeo Doubs, 2 concussions, I look for some security right now. Hey, I look for, if Green Bay is willing to give me a 4-year extension, I will take that. A guy that I think has really come back from hitting rock bottom last year. Obviously skipping practice. We don't know the whole story there, but the optics don't look good. And so now you've got a guy who I think there's no question he's Jordan Love's number 1 trusted guy. You always talk about who's number 1 in Green Bay. I think it's Romeo. And I think you look at the work in the red zone now, and it looks like Green Bay has put some time with Romeo in the red zone this offseason. So, yeah, I do it. I do it in a heartbeat. And the 2 guys right now, when you're looking at and you look at Where do they fit in the future? I think Quay Walker and Romeo Dobbs are the two next targets. You got a minor deal done with Christian Watson to buy you a little bit more time. I thought that was really smart from Green Bay's perspective. You've got some other guys. Devontae Wyatt's still a question.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think he makes a big impact. We'll see how this injury affects him. We'll see how long he's out, those types of things. So I would put him third on my list. But if you can get Dobbs done for a deal, I say do it. And because of the cap this year.
Right. And I think I honestly feel like if you get it done, the deadline would be before the offseason because then it explodes.
Right.
Assuming Dobbs continues down the path that he is right now, may not get 1,000 yards, but he's obvious the connection with him and Love is clearly there.
He reminds me a lot of Aaron and James Jones.
I was going to just say James Jones.
That you don't have this 112 catches for 1,400 yards and 14 TDs. You probably have 70 catches for 800 or 900 yards, but still those 14 TDs. And so it reminds me of going back when Rodgers needed a play. A lot of times he went to the perceived number 2 receiver, James Jones. And so I see that same kind of connection. You go back to Love's wedding. Yeah. Who's in the front row? Romeo Dobbs. So, and it makes sense now what you're seeing. And you're also seeing a different Romeo Dobbs this year. He seems to be enjoying football again.
More energy, more enthusiasm from him. Before we get to your prediction, one more. Rich Bisaccia, the special teams group.
I thought he was going to be gone.
Yeah.
I thought he was over the bye. I thought, what I thought was going to happen? I thought he was going to keep the assistant head coach title, but they were going to bring somebody in to take over the load of those special teams because it's horrible. And you look at the Dallas game. Dallas saw that they almost blocked that first extra point.
Yeah.
So they basically did the same thing, and Green Bay didn't adjust. And now after that, it happened. And special teams is critical. And I will tell you, if Green Bay loses another game or ties another game this year, because of special teams, you have to make a move.
Yeah.
Regardless of what kind of locker room guy Rich Bisaccia is. And if that move is simply demoting him from both titles and he's there as the assistant head coach, I'm fine with that. But something needs to be done. And you cannot continue blocked field goal, obviously, in the Cleveland game. Blocked extra point for a 2-point conversion for Dallas, which obviously big difference in that game.
Yep.
So you can't continue to do this if you're the Green Bay Packers. I looked at the power rankings coming out of the bye. They're about 7th or 8th right now. Before the Cleveland-Dallas game, they were 1st or 2nd in most of the power rankings. Now, again, power rankings, it is what it is. I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all. But you didn't go out and give up 2 number 1s in Kenny Clark to be the 7th or 8th best team in the football.
Right.
You have made a statement by going out and getting Micah Parsons. You can't let that statement that the front office made go flat because of something the coaching staff is doing.
Even on like the coverages, the last thing I want to see is Brandon McManus making the tackles.
Yeah.
At the 45.
Yeah. It's sloppy right now.
Yeah.
It's sloppy. And like I said, you don't go out and get Micah Parsons and then have special teams to play that way.
14.5-point favorite.
I thought it was a double digit. Maybe Joe Flacco brings it down to 14. Who knows? So I'm gonna stick with Vegas. This is a 2-touchdown win. I think Green Bay coming back home. I think having the bye, like I talked about, LaFleur traditionally has been good after the bye. I think Hafley's that same kind of mind where he's going to say, okay, what do we need? What's that self-scouting? What do we do differently that's now an unscouted look? And so I see a 2-touchdown win, and I do not see Joe Flacco winning again against Green Bay. And maybe forever, I don't see another Joe Flacco win against Green Bay. So I don't know if I'm going on a limb on that, but, I think I'm going to predict that Joe Flacco has had his last victory against the Green Bay Packers.
I just hope that bad taste of that tie for Dallas is still kind of in there, and that's where they come out a little bit more energized and such. A fast start, a hot start right away.
You know what? And then the all gas, no brakes. LaFleur's been putting the brakes on.
Yeah, he has.
And so you look at the point differential first quarter versus fourth quarter for the Green Bay Packers, it's huge. They are coming out with a hot start. They're not finishing.
Yep.
I want to see this Packer team in the fourth quarter beat the Cincinnati Bengals by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter alone. Because it is time for him to stop talking. When I say him, I mean Matt LaFleur. Yeah, he's all gas first quarter. He's pumping the brakes.
Right.
It's time to go all gas 4 quarters.
Yep. All right.
Beautiful digs.
It is.
Beautiful digs.
Brewers, Cubs. Who you got?
With Priester on the mound tonight.
Yeah.
And you know what? I really doubted the Ashby move to start game 2 and going with the bullpen game.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, Pat Murphy's a lot smarter than I am.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you're bringing Priester now in with an opportunity to close the game. And I think he goes as long as he can.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you talking earlier. I think he goes. I think this is a traditional start for him. And if you can get 5, 6, 7 innings out of him with a quality start to close it out and be done with the Cubs, I think that's where this and you know what? I honestly think the Brewers sweep.
Mm-hmm. Wind's blowing in 16 miles an hour, so that's going to help out the Brewers.
I heard somebody say earlier Bryce Terang needs to have a game, and I really like that call. My call for tonight is Priester.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence the streak that the Brewers had when he started.
Mm-hmm.
Quality starts, regardless of the win or loss, is a huge metric. And I think he gives you innings, he gives you quality starts, and I think the Brewers win this game tonight.
All right. Going to hold you to it.
And please do.
Next week, let's have some beverages.
I'm down. Yes,
right.
I'm down with it.
All right,
I'm down with it.
All right. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after these few words. VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire is a place where good food, live music, great times come together. From casual dinners with friends to packed nights with local bands, there's always something happening at VFW Post 305. Kitchen serving up delicious meals, the drinks are cold, the atmosphere is welcoming. Hey, whether it's a night out, a community event, or just a place to relax, VFW Post 305 has it all. Visit them today at 1300 Star Avenue. Maybe you're up. You're like, time for breakfast. Where do I go? You head on over to VFW Post 305. Get the taco omelet. Or get something else. That fantastic menu, fantastic food at our good friends from the VFW Post 305, excuse me. Got a few more picks, and I know I got to take another quick break here to kind of catch up and such, but a few more picks for some key players. Got another Bryce Terang. A couple more Quinn Priesters coming through here. We've got a Contreras one and a couple of Jackson Cheerios, as Ben says. Hopefully Jackson Cheerios in the lineup again and can continue to stay hot if he could be that tone center at the top and then a power bat a little bit later on in the game. He is going to be a difference maker. Nick says it's got to be Quinn Priester, and if he could give them some length, get a lead, hand it off to the bullpen, I'm feeling really good about the Brewers' chances. Key player says, Chris, Pat Murphy. What's up his sleeve for managing today's game? I'm excited to see what he has in store for the crew. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. But the fact that it's out there, Council and the Cubs are thinking about it a little bit too. I think you're going to see Priester. It's going to be kind of a normal start. But I think the big question is, what if he doesn't have his stuff? What if it's clearly evident he doesn't have his stuff? How quick is that? How quick? How long of a leash does he have? And does it factor in that they have a 2-game lead? I mean, best outcome is we know right away Priester's wheeling and dealing, and he gets through it. Gets to his 5 innings, 6 innings, and hopefully when Murphy does hand the ball off to the bullpen, that the Brewers have the lead at that point. I feel like if the Brewers have a couple run lead, handing the ball off to their bullpen, you're feeling pretty darn good. You're feeling pretty good. At least I would. But continue to send me your predictions, all right? Text it 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. You can also join in on the video stream if you'd like to do that. All right. Really quick break to wrap up the second hour. So we'll do that. We'll do that right now and then Plenty more baseball talk. Vibe check, Brewers fans. It's game day. Got to hear from you. How you feeling? Are you confident in tonight's game? Yay, nay? Where you at? Give me some predictions with this as well. All right, I want to hear from you. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, oh yeah, we got this, baby. We got this. How you feeling? All right. Seems like a lot of you, I did not update it, but it seems like a lot of you a little bit earlier, your vibes are high. I would say the average is about a 7. About a 7. All right. Anyways, gotta take that quick break. So we'll do that, and we'll be back here in just a couple minutes to wrap up the second hour. Plenty more baseball talk coming up after these quick words. Best of luck to all of our youth deer hunters who's going to be hitting the woods this weekend. It's also a good reminder. Next month is the Blaze Orange, the Army of the Blaze Orange. Well, you're going to have Blaze Orange this weekend here too, but the 9-day deer gun hunting season. So if you're like, oh, snap, I need that new deer rifle yet. I got to go upgrade. Where do I go? You go to Tilden Gun. Go visit our friends, Sean and Hunter from Tilden Gun. You can check out their websites or visit their sweet shop at 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls, and they'll help you find just what you're looking for. Or if you have any questions, you're not quite sure maybe what you should be looking for when it comes to that new deer rifle of yours, they'll help you out as well. So the countdown is on to the deer gun hunt season. But again, best of luck. Be safe to all of our youth hunters that are going to be hitting the woods this weekend. And if you have any luck, don't forget to send those on over to us and share it with the rest of the class. Just, kiddos, save one for me this year, okay? That's all I ask. Just save one for me, please. Tyler says, big question for tonight is the wind blowing in or out, and will it affect the game? Go Crew. Well, we did the weather report already, Tyler. That was a big key for me. Latest ones say it's going to be blowing in at 16 miles an hour around game time. So I think that's a big help for the Brewers. Play a little small ball. Maybe not a lot of home runs tonight. If it's going to be blowing in, I think that's advantage Brew Crew. So, but yeah, that was definitely one of my big keys for this. So, all right. Coming up next hour, we'll get back to some more Brewers talk. Give me your vibe checks. How you feeling? You confident in this game or not? Your predictions. Give me some key players. And who is the player that we're going to be talking about tomorrow? Who's the player that we're going to be talking about tomorrow? Who's going to be that player that has himself a game today? Maybe it's a good reason or maybe it's a bad reason in your opinion. But who are we going to be talking about tomorrow morning? Hopefully it'll be a Victory Thursday when we're back at it. But think about it for a little bit. Let me know. Stock reports. Whose stock is up? Whose stock is down? All right. Think about that as well and give me your stock reports. There's a shot clock. 2 in. We got 2 more to go. Plenty more Brewers chats on this Game Day Wednesday. Let's hear you, Brewers Nation. Come on. Gotta hear you. Gotta hear the enthusiasm. I'm hoping you're repping the blue and yellow, blue and gold here. Got some news updates. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, here we go. Third hour. Kick it off right now on this Making the Turn Wednesday. Getting set for this afternoon or early evening's Brewers versus Cubs game. 4:08 first pitch. We got Quinn Priester, Jameson Taillon on the mounds. How you feeling, Brewers fans? Give me a vibe check. How you feeling? You feeling confident? You feeling good? You feeling pumped up? Where are you at? Let me know. Hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or you can also join in on the boys in the YouTube chats this morning. So it seems like a lot of you are confident. A lot of you confident. Some, Paul, superstitious, wants everybody to be at a 1 here. I think the Brewers, for themselves are at a 1, but I get it. So send me your predictions. Send me your key players. Who's the player that we're going to be talking about tomorrow? Who's going to be that guy, that player that in a positive light, we're like, oh, yeah, that dude was on. He was on. Big reason. Hopefully we're not talking about it for a bad reason tomorrow and such. But as we mentioned, we got Quinn Priester going for the Crew today. And Quinn Priester, Cubbies fan, growing up. Watched a lot of a lot of Cubs games at Wrigley Field and that. Has a little bit of experience going up against this lineup too. So same with Jameson Taillon and such. How much do you, just kind of throwing this out there as just a general question, but how much do you as a fan look at, all right, the experience that maybe these hitters or these pitchers went up against these lineups in the regular season, or review the mindset at postseason, throw it out the window? Just kind of throw it out the window. Because I look at it a little bit, but I do think there is the other element or the other factor into this, and that's I mean the playoff pressure. It's different. It's completely different than in the regular season. We know this. We understand this. So you do have to add that in there. We'll throw back, or we'll get back to a little football chats. Packers going to be back at practice as well today as they get set for their matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, if you look at it, in terms of the spread, it is the biggest spread. Talk about not jinxing it. Right now, I'm just kind of looking. I think it's the only game where there's a team favored by double digits. Yeah, Green Bay favored by 14.5 in this game. And they're going to be preparing for a new quarterback, but a quarterback that they have already faced, and that's Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco getting traded yesterday from the Browns to the Bengals. So going to be going up against Flacco again. If I would imagine he's going to be the starter in this game. I don't know if the Bengals have officially come out with that yet, but I know it's a quick week, quick turnaround and such to get him ready. But Green Bay's a little familiar with him. I think from an offensive standpoint, from a game plan standpoint, they might tweak it up a little bit to calls and plays where he's a little bit more comfortable with or understands it a little bit more. But this does not move the needle for me in terms of whether this game goes in the favor of Green Bay or Cincinnati. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Yes, I think he's on a better offense when you got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. He can throw the deep ball and try to stretch the field with those guys. The offensive line stinks. The Bengals defense stinks. This should be over 14.5. I usually don't kind of have that mindset going into a game or with a game because that's why that's why they play the game, right? But this should be over. This should at least be a double-digit victory. Packers should cover this thing. If it's close, if it's like a field goal win, God forbid a loss or a tie again, or a one possession type of game, then we're like, okay, what's the dealio? I don't want to be too dramatic and over dramatic, but I'm like, what's the dealio now? I know and at what point do you stop saying it's early? You know, I think we threw that question out when it was baseball season. We're 5 weeks into the NFL season now. At what point do you stop saying it's early? Is it 2 quarters of the way through the season? Is it now? Is it until we get to the third quarter or the fourth quarter of the regular season? At what point do we stop saying it's early? Or do you stop saying it's early? I think that kind of starts now. Now, I would also, to be a little good cop, bad cop, I guess, in this instance too, it's like, well, maybe it's a little bit different for Packers in the sense of Micah Parsons still, getting adjusted and such. I think this is a big week or a big game, big weekend to maybe kind of see him unleashed a little bit more or put into a position where he can affect games a little bit more. But I think, if it's not this week, maybe in the next week, couple weeks, we got to stop saying it's early. And there's no question, when you get to the final second half, you can see these teams go on a run and get that momentum and get in the postseason. They become that dangerous team. Green Bay was that a couple years ago. Jordan Love's first year as a starter. Right, the first half was just awful. Then they kicked it into gear right around Thanksgiving. Went on that run, got in the postseason, maybe a couple plays away from advancing to the NFC Championship game. So you're going to have those teams. But this whole, well, it's early. It's early. It's early. What point do you stop saying that? I think if it's not now, I think at least or at most maybe a couple of weeks at this point. First time texter, Benjamin in Eau Claire. What up, Benjamin? Thanks for the text, man. Hey, Dan, first time texter. Confidence in the crew is at an all-time high. I truly believe this is our year. Get your brooms ready. I know I brought this up in the first hour, so I know some of you probably weren't up at 6 a.m. and such. But like last night, and I think I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only sports fan that goes through this, but there's like that moment when we know there's a game coming up or a big game coming up, and then it finally just hits you, right? It's like, oh, like we can't really predict it. You can just kind of feel it in your gut and in your mind, and you start to think about it a little bit more. It's like, oh, the adrenaline just kicked in. The mindset just kicked in. I'm ready to go. I want to suit up. I want this game here. I want to play. That happened to me last night for this Brewers game. Got home from flag football. Was doing some stuff. And then all of a sudden, I just started to play a little Rocky in my mind here. And I'm like, the adrenaline's kicking in. I know it's game 3 of a divisional series, but it's the Cubs factor. It's Craig Counsell. It's this team with 97 wins the most in franchise history. It's the 1 seed. It's all of the above. Average Joes. Nobody gave them a shot. Nobody believed in them. I feel like there's this enthusiasm, this drive, this energy that I have that I don't know if I've really kind of now, I don't know if I want to say that because 18 it was there too, especially when they went to the NLCS. It's like, okay, them Dodgers. And then that thing went 7. I mean, for crying out loud, the game where Woody hit the home run off Kershaw, if you weren't hooting and hollering, jumping up, fist pumping like you're at the Jersey Shore, you got to check your pulse. But leading into a game right now, I mean, I feel like I'm getting ready for a Packer playoff game. Anybody who knows me, my favorite team is the Packers. Brewers are right behind them too. But it's like it's that type of adrenaline. It's that type of like, oh, let's go. And it's kinda weird too because it's not football in the sense of, like, it's just one game. We will have another baseball game if the Brewers fall today, and it's gonna be tomorrow right away. But it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. Now, there are some who are being, I think, trying to keep their vibes in check. Maybe don't want to get their hearts broken. Maybe just trying to protect themselves a little bit, or maybe just don't want to jinx it. I get it. I totally get it. I've been down that path before too. Been there. But there's just, man, I, I want game time to get here. I can tell you right now, I got a full day of meetings and such after this. I'm gonna be watching the clock the whole time, waiting for this game to get going. And it's just gonna drag the day. Just gonna just make it even longer. It's like being at school on Friday and you're just like watching the clock to get to the weekend, between classes, or you're at work on a Friday and you're an 8 to 5 and you're like just like, can we please just get out of here? It's gonna be like that for me. Like I'm just so geeked up, jacked up for this game tonight. I just want to get to it. I want to get to it. It's- oh, all right. Let's take a quick break. Continue to send me your vibe checks, even if you are a first time texter like Benjamin. Thanks for that, Benjamin. All right, quick break, but we'll be back with more. Don't forget to get your picks in for our next week of Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenges. If you've already been doing the picks, you already know the drill. Just head to our website, sportstalk1051.com, and get those picks on in before Thursday night's football. Tomorrow night, Philadelphia at the Giants. How is that one not even a double digit? 6.5. I mean, even if it was in Philly, you're talking 9.5. Interesting, but get those in. Got a little bit of a gap. A couple people tied for first, and they're up by 3, I think, on the next group, who is at second place. So, but nonetheless, get those picks on in. I know we're all about baseball right now. We're all about the Brewers and such. So get those on in at our website, sportstalk1051.com. Got some more vibes. We've got a Mark saying he's at a 6 right now. A little bit nervous because I feel like the Cubs have a decent shot to get this win. But if it does go to 4, I definitely think the Brewers will win that game. I would say averaging out, it's probably around a 7 for our vibe check from Brewers fans. I'd say it's probably around there. So, but keep sending those on over. So key players. Let's go through this list because I haven't caught up on that one, but got a lot of Bryce Terangs. We've got a couple of Jackson Cheerios. Definitely Quinn Priester is a key player for a lot of people. So I mean that one makes sense, right? Starting pitcher in this game. So I mean it definitely makes sense there. So, but that is going to be key, I think. I go back to the question that I keep throwing out there. How long of a leash does and I don't want to make it sound like Priester's been bad because he hasn't been. But you have this pitcher going for the first time in the postseason in a game 3, in an elimination game for your opponent. You can knock him out and you can move on and get your spot in the championship series. Are the Brewers aggressive in this where, okay, he's Priester, maybe he doesn't have his stuff or he's a little bit off and such? Are the Brewers, is Pat Murphy aggressive and like, okay, quick hook, pull him out, let's go somewhere else? Or they let it ride? Like, where's that mindset with a 2-game lead? I think you still got to be aggressive in this thing. I think you have to, if you preach win tonight's, and essentially worry about tomorrow, I think you have to have that mindset game in, game out. But it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of approach it. What if Priester is struggling a little bit? Because I think we all assume the Cubs are going to probably come into this thing aggressive as all get out. Maybe try to throw the kitchen sink at him. Maybe try to, swing early. Try to get some big hits. Try to put up a crooked number early on in this thing. And if they have success at that, do the Brewers make a quick switch? Or are they going to have the mindset of like, all right, let's not maybe utilize our bullpen or tax our bullpen for this game. We got another game tomorrow. I think you got to stay with the aggressive. I hope at least we don't get to that point. Obviously, I hope that's not the case. But I have to imagine Pat Murphy and the Brewers overall are going to expect the Cubs to come in here and just try to swing early, try to put up some runs early, and be ultra aggressive to try to get into Priester's head, to try to kind of maybe mess him up a little bit. But it'll also be key too. Do the Cubs? How do the Cubs? When they come into this, are they going to play tight? Are they going to be able to play loose? They're on the brink of elimination. They're on the ropes. The pressure is all on the Cubs in this game. It's not on the Brewers. So then you have this team of average Joes already who more times than not this year have played so loose and calm, and now they're going to be coming into this game. I'm sure there's going to be maybe a little bit of pressure, like, hey, we have a chance to close this thing out. We have a chance to knock them out and move on. So there'll probably be a little bit of pressure on that, but I think you got to approach this game as all the pressure's on the Cubs. Let's just do our thing. Let's play loose. Let's play relaxed. Let's play confident. Continue our swagger that we've been shown. Do our ball. Do our style of ball. And we're going to be in the driver's seat in this thing. I think it's going to be important for the offense to go out there and able to put up runs early in this game. You know, if the Cubs hit you right away, hit back. Don't let them land some major haymakers. Again, I got that feeling that they're going to want to come out and do that right away and set that tone right away. But if you're the Brewers and you could take some of those body hits, those body blows, and then counter with some hits yourself and some haymakers yourself, maybe take an early lead and maybe take some of that energy and the enthusiasm out of Wrigley Field and maybe put a little bit more self-doubt in the minds of some of the Cubs players. And just all gas. Keep the foot on the pedal. Play like this is the final game of the series. Play like this is an elimination game for yourself. I think that's the mindset you have to have for this. Looking at the rest of, I mean, this is a day for baseball fans all across the board. We could see every team, or we could see teams advancing to the championship series all across the board. If Seattle wins today, they'll be moving on. If Toronto wins today, they'll be moving on. Obviously, if the Brewers win today, they'll be moving on. And if the Dodgers win today, they'll be moving on. But Tigers, they win. We go to a game 5. Yankees, they pull another rabbit out of their hat. They're moving on. Phillies, they win. That series gets extended, and we don't need to talk about the Cubs one. All right, let's take a quick break. Continue to send me your vibes, your key players, your predictions. That's the big one. I want your predictions for this afternoon's game. Quick break. We'll be back after these few words. Surveyor Sam's going with his vibe as a solid 8. This team right now is hitting the laces off the ball, and the Cubs don't have an answer pitching-wise. All I got to say is if you're up by 5 runs, don't think you've won it. See what we saw last night with that Yankees and Blue Jays game. Prediction, Brewers 7, Cubs 5. Key player, Contreras, will have 3 RBIs in the game and a key out at the plate in the 7th. As we've been kind of saying all morning, it's definitely a day for baseball if you are a baseball fan. We got 4 games all in action throughout the day. Starting this afternoon, you've got Seattle taking on Detroit. That's going to be at 2:08. Milwaukee, Chicago, 4:08. Toronto, New York, 6:08. And then the nightcap, Philadelphia against the Dodgers. If Seattle wins, they move on. If the Brewers win, of course, they move on. If Toronto wins, they move on. If the Dodgers win, they will move on. So, got to pod you up there. There we go.
Oh, hi, news studio.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. You mentioned the Sarah Lang stat.
Yes.
October 5th, 1996. I was at college.
Mm-hmm.
Just started my freshman year last time that happened.
Yeah. So, I always love it when she has those fun. How does she find those two? It's not a Google search.
Occasionally, Sarah Lang's getting again, however she's able to do it now with wherever her ALS is at, but I don't know if she's at the Steve Gleason point of using her eyes, but I'm trying to picture her all right, Google, and it has the 4 ones and no, I think sometimes she cites Elias.
Yep.
And a lot of people do. I mean, that's a good go-to, but I think some of us are just that, and I say this in a good way, geeky enough, we know where to find that stuff. It's secondhand, okay, so where would you find 4 eliminations and bam, there's just a place to go. And she got, the historic context of last night, because of course I follow her, and a lot of us do.
Yep.
The historic context of what Aaron Judge did last night, there's never been, what was the stat on the home run? Aaron Judge has never hit a home run that was that far inside at that speed of a pitch.
So Aaron Judge's home run came on a pitch 1.2 feet from the center of the plate inside. That's the furthest inside or outside pitch he's homered off of in his career. Also, home run came on a 99.7 mile per hour pitch. That's the fastest pitch he's homered off of in his career. I will say Jackson Churio beat that though. So take that, Judge. Science then tells us, physics tells us, Jackson Churio is a better hitter than Aaron Judge.
Of course.
So, yeah.
We well know. So that gives you an idea of why last night, in its own small way, mattered. It's probably not the biggest moment of this postseason. There's still plenty more to go. Though, there was the thought that last night, Aaron Judge maybe did have, I know this is what ESPN's putting on their headline right now. It's the top story. Is this Aaron Judge's first real October moment? He's underwhelmed in the postseason in his career. It's a division series game where the Mariners just need to win one more and the Yankees are gone. So we shouldn't go so far as to say, well, there we go, Aaron Judge. But we've been waiting for something like that. He hasn't done quite as well as you would expect someone of his talent, his stature, all of that. But it's good to understand what last night meant for the Yankees to take the lead and hold on in this series.
What was the other thing I was going to bring up here with some of Sarah Lang's stats? Oh, this one. So far this postseason, teams to score first are 13-8. Although Cubs scored first twice and still lost.
That's 2 of those losses.
I'll just throw that one in there. Teams to out homer opponents are 12-2. 39.5% of the runs have been scored via the home run ball so far. Now, this one's a little bit different because, game 2, Brewers out homered Cubs. So, but in game 1, Cubs had 3 homers compared to the Brewers, none.
What are those 2 losses?
4 home runs total for the Cubs. 3 total home runs for the Brewers.
We're also starting to get more home runs because I've been watching her posts noting the home run percentage because that was one of those things because we hear that all the time because it's true that you have to be able to hit home runs to succeed in the postseason. Stats show that. So far, the percentage has been relatively low, but it was early on. There's not much of a statistically valid sample size. That's been creeping up. Now we're up to 39.5. It's 41.1 last year. We got plenty more games to go this entire postseason. So again, you got to hit home runs. To your point, though, as you were talking about before the last segment about the Cubs coming out gangbusters early. And maybe you were already talking about this, or someone else was, maybe one of our texters was saying this. If it's not more than, say, 3 runs or 4 runs, I don't know how much that's going to matter to the Brewers. They've seen it happen twice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. We'll come back.
Yeah.
It's not always going to work, but it's not going to necessarily shake them. Now, if it's like 7-0, 8-0, it's one of those like Blue Jays style first innings or something like that. Another story, but I think they can handle a lot of
or hey, a Cubs or a Brewers first inning from Saturday where they put up 6.
Right.
So
there's exactly, yeah. I came away from yesterday's Baseball Tonight podcast. It was it Jorge Castillo and Tim Kirkjian were talking. I came away from that thinking, I think I want, as a baseball fan, to see the Blue Jays and Brewers in the World Series. A little more small ballish, more fundamentals. That as much as, of course, that's the one that would get all the, it's a disaster for baseball because it's Canada versus a small. Shut up. It's if you want to watch good baseball, that's the one. All the teams remaining are going to be good.
Right.
But if you want a really good matchup, entertaining baseball, and hopefully one that would go 7 games, I think all of us should root for, besides the Brewers, of course, unless you're not a Brewers fan, and the Blue Jays.
What was the other thing I was going to bring up here too? So where did it go? Oh, I had a fun nugget. No, I don't have it anymore. It's gone. I must have closed it.
Yeah.
It happens.
Was it Sarah Langs' nugget?
Probably. I was going to
one?
steal it from her and such stuff. Oh, this was good. You'll be proud of me. I did a weather scouting report.
Oh, really?
So Wrigley Field.
Did you install an anemometer down at Wrigley Field?
So Wrigley Field, the way it's positioned, okay?
Yes.
The wind is going to be coming in from the northeast.
Ooh.
Which means directly center, 16 miles per hour.
Ooh, okay.
So no home runs today.
Take that, Cubs.
Exactly. Right?
Home run
That's
hit.
advantage Brewers, isn't it?
You would think so.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See? Proud of me. I did a little weather.
Nice.
I looked up the positioning of where Wrigley Field is, how it's positioned from the cardinal directions, and then I looked at the forecast on game time. It says 60 miles per hour northeast.
Checking out the
Northeast.
climatological norms for early October on the Chicago lakefront on the north side.
Yep.
Okay,
So
very good.
I think that's advantage Brewers.
I would think so too. Well, that's the thing. The Cubs are, we knew this going in. They're more of a home run hitting team. That would be a disadvantage to them. I mean, and I know baseball gets crazy. We'll see stuff like, 16 mile an hour straight gale in, and the Cubs hit like 7 home runs today. It would be some weird thing like that. It could still happen, but ordinarily you got to play with what you got, and hopefully that will advantage Priester and et cetera with Milwaukee today.
Yeah.
Let's play a little smaller on that.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
How much do we factor in Priester's first career postseason start? If not much. I mean, we saw Mizorowski the other night. He was pretty good in his first appearance, not a start, but appearance.
Right.
So, and this is a kid who apparently grew up going to Wrigley Field. So, I mean, you got that storyline that's going to be talked about. So,
I feel like this is a feast or famine one. It's either going to do like, I mean, I'm trying to think like Schlittler was like the anti-hometown one because of the Massachusetts thing. But it's either going to be he goes into Wrigley, he knows the place, is like, I am going to shine here, and goes like 7 innings. This is where 25 years ago we'd say a complete game. But he'll go 7 innings, have like 9 strikeouts, and shut down the Cubs to send the Brewers to the LCS. Or he's out after the first. I don't know how. It could be something in between, but it feels like it's set up for one or the other. The Priester stat is bonkers from this season.
How many wins in a row? That's quality starts, right?
Honestly, that might be the most. I mean, it's a subjective thing, But I would put that up as my candidate for the most unusual stat of this entire baseball season. Quinn Priester, of all players, and I know he played for a good team, obviously, in the Brewers, but why did they win so often when he was starting? And it wasn't usually, I mean, it was in large part because of him, but it wasn't entirely because of him. I mean, they still had to win the games. That's the point. I don't know how much that means much to a postseason game. Again, a lot of that had to do with him playing for the best team, statistically, win-wise, in baseball. Well, if they happen to lose a game, it might be in the league division series. But I also don't know how well he's going to be ready for a later afternoon, early evening game at Wrigley with that wind coming in.
Right. Then you got Jameson Taillon, who pitched in the clinching game against the Padres. Been a solid pitcher for the most part of the season. Both these pitchers have gone up against these teams 3 times this year in various degrees of success and non-success and such. So how much do we factor in regular season appearances between these lineups and these pitchers as we get into the postseason? Is it a little bit? Is it a lot? Is it none at all?
And again, cliche time, throw out the records when the Cubs and Brewers play. But I've seen enough variance. But again, I'm kind of a broken record on it, but this is where what we've talked about all season, the baseball playoffs kind of get a little weird. Admittedly, this postseason so far hasn't been that unusual. I guess law of averages, at some point you're going to have more of the higher seeds, the more talented players perform well, and you're not going to have that shocker. We've got plenty more time for someone like that to shine, like in the World Series, of course. But I don't know how much that, because of that, like 55%, and again, I'm talking teams, not individual players, but that percentage that crosses over towards of likely success. And so I don't know that a particular matchup, how Priester's done overall, Taillon against Milwaukee, any particular player, it's somewhat of a factor. You don't discount it, of course. It's going to matter, but I don't think one can look at that and then say, okay, this then, because looking at today's matchups, what's your first instinct?
When I look at it, I think if we just look at pitching matchups and the lineup, I think the slight advantage does go to Jameson Taillon, because I looked at earlier Priester's numbers at Wrigley Field this year, and it's not great. I mean, it's a very small sample size, so it's inflated a little bit, but it's an over 6 ERA. When you look at the Cubs overall, if you factor in Milwaukee and Cubs, it's better, obviously. But if we were doing this whole, like, okay, we're gonna pick who's got the better pitching staff, the better pitcher, the better offense net, I would give it to Taillon, not to diminish what Priester's done this year, but I mean, Jameson's a good pitcher too. He's a very good pitcher. Yeah. So let's not sell himself short. Right. So I just wonder, is there a leash on him on Priester because of the inexperience? Like, how does Pat Murphy, how do the Brewers approach this game if it's clearly evident, like, okay, he just doesn't have his stuff? It's just not on. You got Quintana. Do you save him for game 4 in case you need him, or do you go with Peralta on a little bit, maybe a day's short rest and such? There's that factor. I think you still have to approach this with, I keep using the boxing analogy because Pat Murphy's a big boxing guy. You got a team on the ropes. I think you got to be aggressive with it. But at the same time, how much does that come into mindset? Like, okay, I don't really want to tax the bullpen too much because we do have another game tomorrow. Right. We do have a 2-game lead. That's the fine balance in this whole thing. And then, does Pat Murphy have something else up his sleeve? Because I think he caught everybody off guard with the game plan in game 2. Everybody thought Priester was coming in after Ashby. They warmed up Priester with Ashby, for crying out loud, before the game. He doesn't pitch at all. And it's a bullpen game, but nobody expected. Does he do that again, or is it more just the typical outing? The fact that I think it's in the minds of people is probably the mind foolery already that's been out there.
I'm trusting Murphy to make the right decision because he's kind of earning it so far. Not everything has gone great the entire season, but a lot has in this series so far. Okay, side note, for doing the Council or Murphy, who has done better, I mean, it's no contest through 2 games. It's definitely Murphy has outmanaged Council in terms
the protege. The teacher has outmanaged the protege.
Well, that's it. Yeah, like that's a factor to this. Like we've seen that with players that go over to other teams. Like they know those other teams. They're more schooled in that against the younger guy who's taken over on that particular team. We see that in the NFL all the times, et cetera, et cetera. I think Murphy then he might be ready to wave a white flag on this one game. It's dangerous to do. You never want to give up on one, but understand who you've got. Like I wouldn't want to see Peralta go into this game.
No.
Gosh, that seems like a panic move, but I also would not think Murphy would do that anyway. I don't know if that crosses his mind at all. If you have to give this one up, you've got 2 more to go. You have confidence enough in your team. You can still win at some point. That's the point. You just need to win 1 out of 3. So if one's clearly not going your way, don't screw yourself over so you lose your margin of error. So no, I think that also makes me wonder, though, if the hook is not that tight, that even if Priester's having a tough time, you kind of do leave him there. Let him work it out a little bit more. You might need him in game 5 in an emergency situation. Well, don't let him be too shaken. So let's say it's 5-0, 6-0 in the first. He's probably going to be pulled. But I think there's a case to be made that you might want to leave him in for, go into the second inning. All right. Can you calm this down? Okay, good. You got that, Quinn. All right, cool. All right, come on out now. We might need you in game 5 if it gets that far along. We're going to be okay. That might be the best job of managing the situation. That's very much an unanalytical perspective. Because analytics says get him the heck out of there.
Right.
There's a case to be made for that.
All right, we got to take a quick break. Then we'll wrap up the third hour. Continue to send us your predictions, your keys to victory, bold predictions. Anybody got that? So you can send those on over as well. So quick break, and we'll be back after these few words. All right, just a few minutes left to the top of the hour. So Seattle, Detroit, Toronto, Yankees, Phillies, Dodgers. We'll see if the Phillies can extend this series later on tonight. But the Yankees with an epic comeback last night. I loved the waves of emotion on social media last night. Faces of the Yankees, like I think it was Jazz Chisholm's face, like, what's good? It was bad. And then, of course, all rise Aaron Judge with the 3-run shot and such. So,
yeah, of course.
But playoff baseball, I gotta love it.
It's pretty good.
It is. It's really good. And it's going to be, I think, a very good day. Give me a number, bold predict. You don't have to necessarily pick if you don't want. How many teams will advance to the next round today? Everybody's got a shot.
See, okay.
Well, 4 teams got a shot to do it, I should say.
Yeah, so, we got all 8 teams could advance today. I'm sorry I'm picking the Cubs in this. I don't want that. Sorry, Marty. But I do think Chicago gets this one. Mariners, Tigers. That almost feels like this is going to be a 5-game series. I'll say Detroit gets that one. I'm going to go Yankees, so we're going to go 5 games in that, and then Phillies, Dodgers tonight. I'll say the Dodgers wrap it up.
So you just got one moving on.
One,
after today.
yes.
And it's a sweep by the Dodgers over the Phillies, which I don't think anybody probably had that on their bingo card when they opened up began these series.
No. I did. The Phillies are. I mean, is it weird to say that would be the closest thing to like an upset situation? I mean, it's not.
I feel like it'd be like the World Series from last year with Dodgers Yankees,
where you felt it was going to be way closer,
yeah.
And then it got way lopsided.
Yeah. Because I mean, was like, oh my God, drooling over Dodgers versus Phillies, and I get it, and I understand it. The behemoths and that, but
I thought Philadelphia was playing better overall. Like I don't make that pick comfortably, but a lot of these games I'm not picking that comfortably.
That's so huge though for the Dodgers to take those 2 in Philly.
Yeah,
and now they're at home.
Yeah,
so
the Dodgers, I know they've had weaker spots this season. They don't feel like, I know they're up against a pretty tough team, but they're going to lose 3 in a row now.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not that much. You can lose 3 in a row pretty easily in baseball, but I think the Dodgers feel of all of the remaining teams the closest. Besides the fact that, of course, they're up 2-0, they haven't lost a game, but they feel the closest to wrapping this up pretty. Like I feel the most confident about them in the LCS of every team. They're the one I feel the most likely to win their series.
Mm-hmm. No, I would. I definitely would agree with that. So, but it should be a good one.
Do you want the Dodgers or the Phillies if the Brewers?
I knew I was waiting for this.
Of course. So who do you want?
Are you making me pick?
Yeah, who you want, not necessarily who you think's going to win it, but I think we think the Dodgers are going to win.
I mean, the right mindset is bring on whoever.
We don't care.
But I'll be honest, I was a little worried about potentially facing the Phillies.
Okay.
So
okay.
Just throwing that out there. Yeah. Was a little worried about potentially. I mean, I was looking at their starters.
Revenge for Mizorowski.
But then it's like, okay, but the Dodgers, we swept the Dodgers, but the Dodgers want a little revenge juice on that one. Yes. I don't know, but
I mean, you talk about a David versus Goliath series, which I know it's not really because Milwaukee was number 1.
Yeah,
but that's how it's going to be set up as the team that finally playing by the rules, but finally got us all to go, wow, we've got a problem in baseball this past offseason.
Yeah.
Tanner Scott signing, who's not even playing right now. That's the depth that they built up because of that versus the smallest market that's managed to put everything together. I think most people would be rooting for the Brewers who don't have a choice in this outside of Dodgers fans and Fox executives. We're going to hear that a lot.
But it's a rematch of 2018.
I know. I would like that if that does ultimately happen. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of those matchups could be good.
Yep.
If it's Phillies Cubs, if it's Dodgers Cubs, those would be good. If it's Phillies Brewers, any of those would be good National League Championship Series matchups.
Yeah, I would agree with it. So, but I hate trying to. I don't, and we can do it as fans more so. But I always get skeptical or nervous, I should say. Like, say I want to play this team. Gone through that path before too many times. Packers Giants, and it's kicked my you-know-what.
Yes.
So
You don't want
thinking over a confidence like, oh, yeah, we got.
no.
And in this case, I mean, I don't think anybody would be very overconfident against Dodgers or Phillies. But even like in 11, I've told this story so many times. After, we watched Game 5. We were at Game 5, Brewers Diamondbacks. We were in the parking lot finding out that the Phillies lost, which means they were the top seed. We get the Cardinals.
Yeah.
We got home field. We're going to the World Series.
Nope.
One game won, but that wasn't a lot after that. So.
I know. I was kind of encouraged when the Brewers won the second game of this series. Like, when was the last time they won the first two? In 2018, did they win games one? I don't think they.
I think they swept the Rockies in that series for the divisional series.
So it's been a while since. Yeah, I remember that series. So it's been a while since they've gotten this far along in any series.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, the last time they've won a series was 2018. It's that Rocky series.
They finally ended that streak right before it became like the twin style streak of when you start to pay attention to it. The Brewers one was getting on the cusp of that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank gosh they ended that one.
Well, I mean, not yet.
Well, with getting the other one, but getting beyond that is another story.
I'm trying to. Why? Oh, I don't want that. All right, we only got about a few seconds left. So you already got your picks in.
Yep, there we go.
Really quick, you gonna go Aces or Mercury? Game 3, WNBA Finals tonight.
I'll say the Aces.
Okay.
Does make me kind of wonder had the Lynx been at full strength, because gosh, Vegas has gotten good of late.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go Aces.
All right. Just really quick, I looked it up from 18. The Brewers won Game 1. Dodgers won Game 2. Brewers won Game 3.
That's right. I remember that.
Dodgers won Game 4. Dodgers won Game 5. Brewers won Game 6. And then Dodgers won Game 7. So. Yeah.
Maybe that's, gosh, what if it's the same thing again this year?
But we win Game 7, then I'll be fine with that. So.
With that one exception, I would be happy with that too.
Yep. Yes. All right. Thanks, Luke.
No problemo.
3 in. We got one more to go. News updates. We'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, here we go. Final hour. Kicking off right now on this Game Day Wednesday. What's up, everybody? How's the vibes? How you feeling, Brewers fans? An hour closer to game time. We're getting there. We're getting there. First pitch, 4:08 this afternoon. Give me your predictions. If you have not given me your predictions yet, send those on over via the Shoe Doctor's bullpen line with a quick text at 715-830-1912. Or you can hang out in the chat room on our YouTube stream. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk. We've got the Packers are going to be back at practice later on this afternoon. So we'll see if anybody, hopefully, when nobody drops out from Monday's practice like a Zach Tom or an Aaron Banks or anything like that. But Packers now having to prepare for a new quarterback and Mr. Joe Flacco, who was traded yesterday from the Browns to the Bengals, all assuming that Flacco will start this game on Sunday. Second time the Packers will be going up against Flacco this year. So we'll hit that up, talk a little bit about that. We got stock reports, though. All right, so you got the final hour here to send me your stock risers, stock fallers. Who do you got? Who is your stock faller? Who is your stock riser? You can text those on over at 715-830-1912. So I'll do my stock risers right now, stock risers and stock fallers. My stock riser, I'm going to go Pat Murphy. Now, his stock was already pretty dang high. Let's not bury the headline here. It was already high, but I think it's getting higher. And I think even more, we saw it at different points this regular season, but I think he's starting to get a little bit more credit, a little bit more attention, a little bit more love, maybe from some of the national peeps out there. I mean, he was on McAfee Show yesterday. I think even more people are starting to recognize this guy's a pretty darn good manager. This guy knows what he's doing. It's just 2 years in. We'll see how this season finishes off and such, but I think that stock is burning hot right now. I think, you look across the state of Wisconsin, we do this once in a while. It's like, okay, who's on top of the pecking order for best coaches in the state of Wisconsin when you look at pro and Division I? Pat Murphy's got to be number one. I mean, he's number one. And I think it's a gap. Who would you put next? It ain't Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell's at the bottom. I think Doc Rivers is probably towards that bottom. So then by default, maybe not, but is Greg Gard. Let me throw this out to you, Wisconsin fans. If Pat Murphy's one, if we did like a Q rating or a power ranking or a favorability ranking, whatever we want to call it, Pat Murphy's number one. Unless somebody wants to make an argument for somebody else, we're focusing straight up on pro and the main, the sports that get the most attention. I mean, I don't want to get too far into the weeds here. Yes, we could put Mark Johnson up there too. That'd be a good pick. You could put Sheffield, volleyball coach for the Badgers and such. They would be all up there. But if Pat Murphy's up there, if we just focused on Brewers, Bucks, Packers, and Badger football, Badger basketball. Let's just focus on those five. Okay? Just focus on those five. How would you rank them in terms of we use a word around here called Q rating, favorability rating, could do power ranking, if you will. Murphy's one, right? Luke Fickell 5, Doc Rivers 4. Is LaFleur 2 or is Greg Gard 2? And then by default, the other person would be 3. That's how I would have it. What about the rest of you? I'm curious. How would you have, if we just look at those 5? Again, I don't want to get too far into the weeds here because, yes, if we throw Mark Johnson in there, we throw Sheffield in there, those 2 are going to be right at the top as well. But if we look at those 5, because those are probably the 5 coaches / managers. I guess if you want to put Shaka Smart in there too, we could throw that in there. We'll give a little Marquette love for basketball. So it'd be a 6 if you want to throw Shaka Smart in there. But those are the 6 coaches that get talked a lot about with their job performance, job security. Is the seat hot? Questionable moves, questionable decisions, where a lot of times fans are questioning their moves left and right. Every move they make, every step they take, they'll be watching you. But yeah, I think Murphy's 1, Fickle's 6. I'd put Doc Rivers 5, and then 2 through 4. You've got LaFleur, Greg Gard, Shaka Smart. What do you got on that one? Where are you at on that one? I'm curious. Let me know. Hit me up with a text or comments on the video streams. Let's have a little fun with this one. Let's have a little fun. So we'll get back to some more Brewers talk coming up here in just a little bit. So forgot my stock faller. So my stock riser, Pat Murphy. My stock faller right now. I mean, it's pretty easy, but I'm gonna go Bill Belichick, North Carolina football. I mean, this has been one for a long time here, but now you got the Hulu canceling the documentary for North Carolina football that they were going to do this year because they stink. I mean, they're awful. I'm going to throw them on there. I'm going to throw Penn State on there. Stock faller. It has not been a good last 2 weeks for James Franklin, so maybe it's James Franklin as my stock faller. You know, what does his future look like? I thought James Franklin, if there was going to be a college coach, the next college football coach, to make that jump back up into the NFL, I always kind of thought, would it be James Franklin? Remember, he was a wide receivers coach in Green Bay. I think it was at 99. I have to double check. If it was 99, that means he was on the same staff as Mike McCarthy when McCarthy was a quarterbacks coach in Green Bay. Now that's going to bug me. I got to look that up. So was he on that same staff as McCarthy? Let me look it up here really quick. So he was 2005. So he was actually Mike Sherman's final wide receivers coach. Mostly, though, he's been at the college level. So maybe he is a college coach. But he got a little bit of a taste of the pro level. But definitely would put stock faller James Franklin, Penn State, too. It has not been a good 2 weeks for them. Whew. We got more picks coming in here. Brewers win 5-4, says Sam. We've got Mike saying Brewers win 7-6. Another Brewers pick. Don't have a name for this texter, but they're going to go with Cubs winning today, but the Brewers win tomorrow. That's what Tim said here too. Tim says Cubs win today 6-2. Brewers win tomorrow 5-4. I feel like that's, yeah. I think a little bit of an advantage right now is, or the majority so far, picks are going towards the Brewers. But more of these picks of Brewers lose today, win tomorrow are starting to come through. And we made that a poll question for our 715 Speaks poll question brought to you by Post Glass and Mirror. And I posted it up last night. And the numbers are about the same. 82% are going for the Brewers or thinking that the Brewers are going to win today. 18% rolling with the Cubs. I'd be curious to know from the 18%, are they in the group of like Brewers will lose today, but then they'll win on Thursday? Let's talk some more Brewers. Looking ahead to today's game, we'll give you some of the nuggets between these two pitchers and what potentially is maybe the biggest key, the ultimate key in this matchup between the Brewers and the Cubs. A key that favors, in my opinion, the Brewers quite a bit. We'll take a quick break, and we'll hit that up and more coming up after these quick words. Big Worm is going to go. Number 2 is guard, in my opinion. The NIL heavily favors the Blue Bloods, but old Greg gets the guys that fall into his system and want to play for him. Stock riser is Joey Ortiz. When your 9-hitter gets on 4 times in 2 games, huge. Don't have a stock. Down person, Dano, staying positive today. Go Crew. Wade says Murphy, guard, LaFleur, Smart, Rivers, Fickle. Have to mention Johnson, women's hockey coach, who'd be number 1. Yep, and we did that. We mentioned that. We said him and Sheffield for women's volleyball would be towards the top too. But looking at these 6 that are probably that get talked about the most or scrutinized the most or second guessed the most. We're focusing just on those 6 right now. Wade also goes Brewers 4, Cubs 3. First pitch today, 4:08. Anybody else keeping eyes on the clock to see if we can get closer and closer to that? So we know the pitching matchup, Quinn Priester versus Jameson Taillon. Well, how have both of these pitchers performed at Wrigley Field? Now, if you look at the weather forecast and such, wind's going to be a factor. So it looks like right now it's going to be blowing in. So maybe home run balls are going to be at a premium coming from the Northeast, and the way Wrigley Field is lined up should be blowing in here. So looking at Jameson first, with his games at Wrigley, he's got 5 wins, which, I mean, that's his home ball club in that. He's pitched in 10 games at Wrigley Field this year. Jameson has a 3.05 ERA and 59 innings pitched at Wrigley. 20 earned runs, 9 home runs, 51 Ks. Nearly, a little over half of his Ks coming from Wrigley Field. Again, it makes sense. Home pitch, that's his home ballpark, that sort of stuff. But that's what Jameson's numbers are against or at Wrigley Field. But how about against the Brewers lineup? Well, he has pitched he started 3 games against the Brewers. He's pitched 3 games against the Brewers this year. He is 2-1 with a 4.50 ERA. 16 innings pitched, 8 earned runs, 3 home runs, 11 Ks. On the flip side, Quinn Priester. What are his numbers at Wrigley Field? Just 1 game at Wrigley Field this year, 2.08 ERA, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run. But against the Cubs this year, in 3 games, 2 of them technically starts, 6.28 ERA, 14 1/3 innings pitched, 10 earned runs, 3 home runs, 11 walks, and 11 Ks. By far, he is, and just kind of looking at games played. So, okay, there's Cardinals, Reds, and Cubs. He has played 3 games against each. Got a couple 2s like Pittsburgh under than 1s. But walks-wise, the only time he's got double-digit walks is against the Cubs in 3 games, 11. To put it in comparison against Cincinnati, 5 walks in 3 games. St. Louis, 4 walks in 3 games. So just a little bit of the numbers, pitching-wise, at Wrigley, but also going up against the opponents, going up against these teams and such. So if we look at Brewers position players, if we're saying today might be difficult for the long ball, maybe that's advantage Brewers if playing a little small ball and such. Well, if that's the case, who are some of the players then on this Brewers lineup that have actually maybe hit well at Wrigley Field this year? Who are some of those guys that have actually hit well at Wrigley Field? Well, let's take a look at it, shall we? How about Bryce Terang? How well has Bryce Terang done at Wrigley Field this year? 28 at-bats. 28 at-bats at Wrigley Field. Third most outside of American Family Field, which is obvious. PNC Park, he had 32 at-bats, but 28 at-bats at Wrigley Field. He is hitting .429 batting average, a .714 slugging, and a 1.181 OPS at Wrigley Field for Bryce Terang. Against the Cubs in general, 46 at-bats this season. He has hit .348 and an OPS of a .902. That's Bryce Terang. Okay, we're going to get to back to Bryce Terang here in just a second. Contreras. William Contreras, who, a couple big hits already in the first 2 games of this series. His numbers against the Cubs this year, just against the Cubs, 47 at-bats, .298, and an .889 OPS. But at Wrigley, 26 at-bats. That average drops down to a 192 and a 594 OPS. Salvatore Frelick. Maybe we're waiting for some big hits from the now the fall of, I don't want to say fall of Sal because that makes it sound like it's he's falling down. Summer of Sal. Can we extend the Summer of Sal? His numbers against the Cubs in general: 47 career bats, or said career again, 47 bats this year, 277 with a 735 OPS. But at Wrigley Field, in 29 at bats, Sal Frelick is 310 with a 773 OPS. Now, assume I'm going through the players based off the assumption that we're going to have the same lineup card as we did for the first two games here. So Blake Perkins, just 14 at-bats against the Cubs this year, 143 to 464 OPS. Wrigley Field, 10 at-bats for him. Got an RBI and a walk, but 7 strikeouts in 10 at-bats. 0.000 average. OPS 091. Yikes. Not good. Not good. But Perkins is in the lineup mostly for his defense. How about Christian Yelich? So far against the Cubs this year, Christian Yelich, 47 at-bats, not good. 170 batting average. Does have a 618 OPS. When you look at his numbers at Wrigley Field, it's pretty similar. 200 batting average and 25 at-bats and a 693 OPS. Caleb Durbin. Also a guy, a little bit of a Chicago background with Caleb Durbin. He's from Illinois. Lake Forest, Illinois. He's going back to his home state. How has he done against the Cubs this year? 42 career at-bats, just 167 and a 557 OPS. At Wrigley, kind of the same thing, 154, 577 OPS. You got Andrew Vaughn coming off that big home run against the Cubs so far this year, 256 in 39 games. But at Wrigley Field, 28 bats, 179. Jackson Chourio. Quick note. Pat Murphy did say yesterday that when Jackson Chourio left the game 2, it wasn't necessarily because, just giving him, resting the hamstring. Apparently Jackson started to feel it again. He started to feel that hamstring again. Something to watch for today. Maybe with a little colder temperatures too. Got to keep that hammy warm. Got to keep it loose. But maybe something to watch. Because that was the reason why he was removed from Monday's game in the 9th inning. It wasn't just because game they thought was out of hand or anything like that. Apparently, Jackson Chourio felt the hamstring tighten up again. Something to watch for today. But when you look at what Jackson Chourio has done against the Cubbies and at Wrigley Field this year, against the Cubs in 28 at-bats, 250, 729 OPS. At Wrigley Field, just 10 at-bats, but he has hit 300 with an 800 OPS. But how about Joey Ortiz? Joey Ortiz against the Cubs this year. 195 batting average in 41 at-bats. However, 22 of those at-bats came at Wrigley where he hit 318 and a 666 OPS. So, okay, a lot of numbers, a lot of batting averages, a lot of OPS stuff. What does it mean? If we look at those numbers and we think, okay, today it might be a game where the small ball is going to have to win it. I'm looking at Bryce Durang, I'm looking at Sal Frelick, and I'm looking at Joey Ortiz. Those guys this season, of all those guys that we just listed, and you could throw Chourio in there too with 10 at-bats, but for guys who've got, like 20 or more at bats at Wrigley Field this year. The guys who have had success are Sal Frelick, Joey Ortiz, and Bryce Terang. And Bryce Terang has raked at Wrigley Field. When you look at his numbers, 429 batting average, 1.18 OPS. You know, he's got a 471 average at AT&T Park and 17 at-bats. American Family Field, he's 285. Citizens Bank, 10 bats, 400. But you look at those numbers, and outside of American Family Field, again, these are the third most at-bats he's had elsewhere. PNC was 32, Wrigley here at 28. Dude feels like he's comfortable at Wrigley Field. And he's hit 2 home runs there. But I look at this game and we talk about key players. Now, the Brewers are a team that it takes the team to win. They're all about team victories. There's no question about it. They don't have the superstars like an Aaron Judge or anything like that. But if we get a Bryce Terang game where he's on, and you get a little Sal Frelick in the middle of the order, maybe Joey Ortiz at the bottom if he continues to get on like he has been, like Big Worm mentioned here in the first couple games. You flip that lineup over. And let's assume Jackson plays today. You got Jackson at the top, who's been magnificent. You've got Terang potentially still hitting in that 3 spot. I look at those 3 as like, here we go. Maybe a lot's going to be on their shoulders. But just, I thought it was just kind of interesting to look at some of these numbers because, you know, I always find it interesting to see, okay, how do some players hit at certain parks, right? We always hear about, well, you know, home run ballpark and that. And Wrigley is an interesting one too because of the wind factor with it being an outdoor ball club or ballpark. But maybe this is going to be a game. And if Terang is going to have one of his games, that is going to make it more important for Cheerio to get on. For Ortiz at the bottom, when they flip over that lineup, to get on as well. So let me ask you something. With the Jackson Cheerio thing, and this was something we kind of talked a little bit about in the first hour. Since he, quote, felt it again, felt the hamstring, tighten up again. You're up 2. Do you play him today? Do you try to be cautious and just give him a day? Do you play him today or do you sit him? Because he's not 100%. How would you manage this being up 2? If you're Pat Murphy, how do you do this? Think about that for a little bit and let me know, okay? We'll take a quick break. We'll get back to some more of your texts, your thoughts as we start to wrap up this program and inch a little bit closer and closer to Game 3 and a potential sweep against the Cubbies and a potential spot in the National League Championship Series. All right, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. on my mic there. Man, who pushed? All right, there we go. John says, how about you DH Cheerio and have Yelich play left field? Possibly. But I think it seems like Cheerio is really feeling it when he's running the bases, legging out singles, specifically infield singles. I mean, that's when he first suffered it. Apparently, that's how he felt it again. I think that's more of the concern. And I think, too, if you DH him, I mean, he's going to be sitting for a long period of time in between at bats. Maybe they view like, okay, go in the field and you can stretch out, keep loose and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if that would be an option. It potentially could, but maybe on a day too where maybe the home run ball isn't going to be that big of a factor in this one, where it's going to be base running and it's going to be trying to take those extra bases. Do you want to put Cheerio potentially into that situation as well? I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what it is. I feel like he's probably going to play, but I think like a lot of us didn't think he was going to play game 2. So we'll kind of see where it goes. The other option would probably be Isaac Collins, who's going to, as we know, get some rookie of the year votes. So if you look at, maybe a little bit of what Isaac Collins has done against the Cubbies. Let me bring up Isaac Collins' numbers here quick, because he would be the natural one. Just you keep Yelich at left field and you put Isaac Collins out there. That would seem to be just the natural switcheroo. So looking at Collins, I don't know why they've got him listed twice. Isaac Collins and then Isaac Michael Collins. Okay. But Isaac Collins, looking at against the Cubs this year, and 42 at-bats, he's hit 214 and a 693 OPS. And at Wrigley Field, 22 at-bats, just 182, but an 808 OPS. So, I just want what I want. I want to see the Brewers for tonight's game, this afternoon's game. I want to see them still be aggressive. Yes, they have a 2-game lead. You could call it a cushion, you could call it whatever, but I still want to see them be incredibly aggressive. You have this Cubs team on the ropes. They may be call it desperate. I mean, they are desperate. But you got them on the ropes here. Let's get these knockout punch. Don't give them any sort of breathing room. Don't let them get any inch of confidence. Don't waste this game. I don't want them to kind of, sometimes we have those, and then they're not going to do this in a playoff game, but sometimes they have those games in the regular season. A lot of times there's the Sunday games, right? Where it's like, okay, you win your Friday, Saturday game, and then Sunday it's like, okay, we're going to take this opportunity to maybe rest a few guys, and it looks like a lineup that's not going to win you a game in that. And they aren't going to do that, but at the same time, I don't want them to have some of their decisions that are possibly made during the game come with the mindset of like, we'll focus on tomorrow. I mean, I guess at a certain point you could do that. Like if it's the 7th or the 8th and maybe you're down by 7 or 6 or 8 or whatever, maybe then. But if it's still close in that, within a couple, I mean, this Brewers team, they've shown the ability to come from behind, right? I mean, they've shown that grit, that mindset, that attitude, like, hey, we're down 3-0, going to the bottom of the first. All right, no big deal. Tied up. We've seen that throughout the season here, too. That has been a theme that a lot of people have mentioned about this team. A common phrase that you hear a lot of fans say, years past, if this team would be down like 2-0, 3-0, it was over with. Or you felt like it was over with. And you don't with this team. And I hope they still have that mindset in this game. Let's say the Cubs, because in my opinion, I think the Cubs are going to come out and try to be aggressive right away. They're going to try to attack Quinn Priester right away. And they're going to try to put up a crooked number and a big number and maybe try to rattle him a little bit. And if that's the case, I hope the Brewers still have that same mind. All right. We're down by a couple. No biggie. We got this. We're good. We've proven it. We've shown we could do that. We've shown that we could come back. We've shown that a 3-run lead or whatever is not that insurmountable. Heck, they've had other leads where they've been down by 6 or something, and they've come back and won it. So they've shown that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just they can rely on the fact that, hey, we did it before. We're good. There is a different feeling about this team on the offensive side that if they are down by a few runs early on in a game, they can claw their way back at it. It is different than years past. And I think, too, when you look at if the weather holds up to what they were calling for a little bit earlier this morning, where it's going to be blowing in, maybe that home run ball ain't going to be a factor. I think you're the Brewers. You got to take advantage of that. You got to take advantage of that with your offense. That plays into your hands. If it was blowing out, then yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous. I'd be nervous. But I think a lot of things are matching up for a Brewers win today. The one thing you can't really analyze, you can't really try to figure out is where's that desperation level from the Cubs in this game? Where's that mindset? Like, I almost feel like if the Brewers jump out to an early lead, let's say they're the team that scores first today and they put up 4 runs and they get through the first. We're heading into the second and the third inning and the Brewers are up 4-0. Does that totally screw the mindset of these Cubs players? Does that just like take out all the energy in the world at Wrigley Field, take out any enthusiasm, any energy that team might have had, any motivation? If the Brewers all of a sudden, just like in the first couple innings, let's say it's maybe not to that extreme, but like a game 1 where they put up a couple runs each inning in the first couple innings, and all of a sudden we're into the third, it's 4-0 Brewers. Do the Cubs have that right mental game to try to get back into it, or they all of a sudden it's going to be panicky? They're pushy, they're pushing it too much. All of a sudden they're striking out at the plate. Guys are just being loose and goose with their swings. It's just serving it up, playing it right up for the crew. I think if the Brewers, if we did some keys to victory and just kind of looked at it overall, if they could jump out to an early lead, key 1, jump out to an early lead, give Priester some run support early on, deal the Cubs a blow right away, maybe take away some of that energy and that motivation. Key 2, take some hits. Assuming the Cubs are going to come out and try to land some haymakers right away, try to be aggressive, take them, get through it. Don't let it get out of hand. This is the worst thing you could do. If they get a hit right away, don't panic. If they get a couple hits right away, don't panic. Don't let it explode. Don't let the fire get bigger. Don't pour the gasoline on the fire, especially early on in this game. Defense is going to be big time key. You got 2 really good defensive teams. But if this wind is going to be a factor, defense is going to be key. Base running is going to be key. Maybe we see some more aggressiveness on the base pass. Trying to manufacture those runs. If you have an opportunity where you've got a couple guys on, 1 out, no outs, get those guys in. You got runners in scoring position, get them in. And if you have that lead, The bullpen has got to lock it down. Do not, if you get into a situation, if you're the Brewers, you get into a situation where you kind of start to smell blood in the water. Be that shark. Be that shark and finish the job. If you get in that situation, you get bases loaded, nobody out, one out. Tie on a big crooked number. Take advantage of those opportunities. If they're there, you have to attack. You have to get after it. I think, I mean, you could easily, and this is going to be a no dust statement, but you could see this thing playing out so many different ways, right? I mean, we could see this playing out. I mean, maybe the Cubs come out hot, and maybe they're able to put up a big number right away, and just, you know, Wrigley Field's going nuts, and it's going to be one of those games. I can see the Brewers coming in and just sucking the energy out of that stadium too. And it could be a very close game going down to the wire in the final inning. It's going to be a big difference, I think, is going to be where's that desperation level for the Cubs? Can they harness that desperation level into focusing, playing some really good baseball, being aggressive, and then on the flip side for the Brewers, you got them on the ropes. Where's that mindset? Where's that killer mentality where you just, let's finish the job. Staying focused, not thinking too far ahead, not thinking back. Hey, we're up 2-0. We're up 2-0. We can maybe relax a little bit. No. Do not have that mindset. And I don't think Pat Murphy's going to allow that mindset. And I think these players are not going to have that mindset either. But this is a heck of an opportunity for the Brewers. You got them on the ropes. Yes, they're in their home stadium. You got them on the ropes. Finish the job. Get the knockout punch. All right, we got to take a quick break. Then we'll make those picks. Full lineup of baseball games in action. Picks coming up as we wrap up this Wednesday program. All right, time to wrap up things here this morning with some picks. We'll save the baseball picks for the end here because we got NHL season. Dropped the puck on their season last night too. We got some NHL games to pick. We got Game 3 of the WNBA Finals. We'll start off there. The Aces are up 2-0. I'm gonna go with the Mercury though to pick up a victory tonight. It's in Phoenix, so I'll go with the Mercury. Let's do some NHL games. We've got Montreal at Toronto, right? Montreal versus thinking today was Tuesday again for a second. Montreal versus Toronto. I'm gonna go with I'll go with Toronto. Let's do Boston at the Capitals. I'll do the Capitals. I'll do Washington. So Calgary, Edmonton. Give me the Oilers of Edmonton. And then the Kings versus the Vegas Golden Knights. I will go with Vegas. We'll go with Vegas tonight. So those are my NHL picks. Now let's do the baseball games. Every game is in action. 4 teams could advance to their league championship series after today. The first team that could do it could be Seattle. They're taking on Detroit in Detroit. Seattle picking up an 8-4 win yesterday. I'm going to go Detroit. Said yesterday, I picked Detroit yesterday, but I thought this was going to be a series that goes 5. I still think this is a series that's going to go 5, so I guess math tells me I have to pick Detroit, so I'm going to pick Detroit. Get some Miz on the mound. Let's go Detroit to force a game 5. Toronto at New York. The Yankees. Can the Yankees use some of that momentum that they got last night and that come from behind victory? You know what? I'm going to go Yankees too. I want the Blue Jays. I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. But I'm going to go with the Yankees. I don't like it, but I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. Phillies at the Dodgers. So, could the Dodgers actually sweep the Yankees? Yeah, I'm going to go Dodgers. I'm going to go Dodgers. I hope it's the Phillies just to extend this series a little bit more. But I'm going to go, I'm going to go Dodgers. I think the pitching matchup's favorite, so. And then finally, the Brewers versus the Cubs. Oh, boy. It's the heart versus the head. It's the heart versus the head. The heart says it's Brewers. The head, it's leaking towards Cubs. Part of it is just because you play the average, law of averages and such. But you know what? Screw it. It's the Brewers. The Brewers get it done today. They get the victory in a 3-game sweep against the Cubs. And we're going to have a rematch of the 2018 League Championship Series, Brewers versus Dodgers. We're going to get that, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Early preview of that. Brewers get it done today. Priester goes 5 innings, gives up a couple of earned runs. You're going to have big hits from Terang. I think Frelick. I even think Yelly's going to get in on the action. Contreras has been playing with a ton of confidence. But I think you're going to have some big moments from Bryce Terang today. Again, for the Brewers, it's going to be a complete and total team effort. It's going to be a team victory again today. That's been the Brewers' way all year long, and it's not going to change. You're probably going to have some key hits from multiple players today. For the Brewers to win, you're going to have some multiple key moments from different players. But I think today is a Bryce Terang day. If I had to pick one position player, I'm going to go Bryce Terang. We're getting close, guys. Guys and gals, we're getting really, really, really close here. What? It's going to be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. 6 hours till first pitch, a little over 6 hours until first pitch. So Anybody, I'm gonna be chewing my fingernails. Oh man, I hope we get some big runs right away. Jump out to a big. I hope it's kind of like game one where we just jump out to a big run and that big lead. And don't like Surveyor said though. Don't get your foot off the pedal when we get there. Keep her going. We saw it last night. Looked like Toronto was going to sweep this thing, and all of a sudden, here comes the Judge and the Yankees, and they were able to get that victory. Whew. I can't wait. Well, either way, we're going to be either talking about a Brewers victory tomorrow and looking ahead to the championship series, or we're going to be talking about Game 4, which will be tomorrow night. It's going to be a night game at Wrigley. Could be even a little bit chillier, too. So, enjoy the game, Brewers fans. I know we got Cubs fans that listen too, so sorry. Hopefully you don't enjoy the game. Have a good rest of your Wednesday. Same place, same time tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Chat with you then.